Welcome to the All-State Thursday Night Lights High School Football Game of the Week. We're here in Homestead as Homestead takes on Germantown. My name is Mike McGivern. I'm with Sports Radio 1250 WSSP, alongside the Wisconsin Hall of Fame coach Ron Davies, and from the Big Show on Sports Radio 1250 is Josh Fernier. Boys, I think the storyline of the night's game has got to be Phil Datka. After 42 years of coaching, tonight is his last regular season game. Coach, you've retired. Tell us what's going through his head right now and a little bit about Phil Datka.
Well, first, Phil Datka has coached 42 years at Germantown, but he also coached a couple years at Francis Jordan in the 60s, so he's probably got 44, 45 years coaching, and I can't imagine that. I coached 30 years with a break in between, and it's very taxing. But the key for Phil, I think, is he's been an icon for so many years, and he's won so many games. In 1979, when we played in Division I state championship game, Phil preceded us in the Division II state championship game. He also played in 1997 for the state championship and won state championships in 1998 and 2003 against outstanding Ashwaubenon and Menominee teams, respectively. But the story on Phil Datka is not wins and losses. It's the kind of person he is. If you read in the paper what Gary Soike, his longtime assistant and close friend, said, he's all about the kids. Jamie Muehlmans, the head coach at Brookfield Central, said the same thing. With Phil Datka, it's all about the kids. That's what makes him such a good person. That's why he's such a good coach. And Phil has always been an option man, but he's really stayed up with the times. Tonight you'll see option football, but you'll see single back sets, you'll see offset eye, you'll see trips, you'll see a bunch, you'll see quarterback rollouts along with that option. And he's really stayed up with the times, and he's just done a wonderful job mentoring all of his assistant coaches through the years.
You know, Coach, Homestead, and I can't believe they're playing second fiddle to the storyline here tonight. Ranked number one in the state now that Bradford has gotten beat. Coach Keel and his staff every year has their team right near the state finals and certainly always winning the North Shore the last 5 or 6 years. They haven't lost to the North Shore in 57 starts. Coach, how does he do this just continually year after year, winning football games and winning the North Shore?
Well, I think one way is he is just a great football coach, and he has a great staff. And Dave delegates authority, and I know his coaches and players respect him so much. Fritz will also run the defense. He's got position coaches, and he even tells me, he says, my coaches do the coaching, which is true to a point, but of course Dave is the one who sets everything in motion. But I have never seen a more fundamentally sound football team in all aspects of the game. They're fundamentally sound. I brought some of my Sherwood Messmer players over to watch them practice a couple of years ago. Not only were they wonderful hosts, but our kids saw some real coaching going on. And Dave is as gracious a person as you can be, like Phil Datka, just another icon in coaching.
Hey, let's get over to Josh Fernier. Josh, this is the first year that you've really experienced high school football in the state of Wisconsin. Really thank you for the help that you've given us up in the press box. Tell us your thoughts, year one, high school football here in the state.
Mike, I've obviously been blown away by the fans. And we so often talk about the kids where they're going to end up on Saturdays or on Sundays. The kids that aren't ending up on Saturdays or Sundays, what's been impressing me? Playing for the love of the game, period.
No doubt. Guys, we're going to get to a break. On the other side of the break, we're going to get over to John Weiser and Dick Basham for the call of the game. This is the All-State Thursday Night Lights High School Football Game of the Week.
With Dick Basham, John Weiser with you at Homestead High School. The Homestead Highlanders taking on the Germantown Warhawks tonight amongst the wind and the rain here this evening in week number 9. Well, for Homestead, they're coming in undefeated, and they've got really a very balanced offensive attack. And normally we're going to talk about skill players, but instead we want to talk about a pair of big offensive linemen.
Yeah, that's true, John. Yeah, you really got to love it on a night like tonight, don't you? When I talked to Coach Keel earlier in the week, he said he was reluctant to pick out any players to talk about, but he decided that the two linemen really deserved it. Max Valmetti, the left guard, Kyle Schober, the right tackle, have started every game for 3 years. Valmetti's about 6'3" and 265, and Schober is about 6'3", 275. And they really move the ball on offense, and they're a running team, and these are the two guys that get it going. Besides that, they're also really good students, Valmetti being number 2 in his class.
Of course, when you talk Homestead football, you talk about a great line of defenders, and one of them here tonight, a defensive lineman, Dante Phillips, the big stud.
Well, one of the reasons that Homestead has won 61 straight North Shore Conference games is they play defense, and they always have great defensive linemen, and Dante Phillips is one of those great linemen. He's already committed to going to Indiana next year. Again, he's about 6'3", 260 pounds, very quick and aggressive, and I think you'll see him in a lot of plays tonight.
For Coach Detka's Germantown Warhawks, a pair of brothers on this team on offense. The Richmond brothers really get it done both at the receiving and running back positions.
Well, that's true. Alec is the running back, and he's only a junior, but he's the leading rusher on the team, easily the leading rusher, and his brother JR is a tight end and leading receiver. They both run track, they have good speed, and they make things happen on offense for Germantown.
Defensively, you've got a great linebacker in Galganitis and a good safety in Hertz.
That's true. Galganitis has moved from a defensive end position inside tonight. At linebacker, they lost one of their linebackers to an injury, and he missed the first 3 or 4 games this year, getting over a knee injury, but he's healthy now and playing very well and one of the leading tacklers, even though he's only played about half the season. And then Adam Hertz is the leading tackler on the team and plays that strong safety position. I think against Hartford this year he had 17 tackles, and those two guys are going to have to get it done tonight if Germantown's going to win.
We know weather's going to be a factor here tonight. How does that affect the keys to the game?
Well, the keys to the game are, I think, important tonight because they need to take care of the ball, but I think Homestead needs to pressure the running game from Germantown and not let it get going. And I think they also need to contain the quarterbacks and keep them back in the pocket. Don't let them get out and run around. And then also need to play field position. They need to keep Germantown backed up as far as they can. Germantown, on the other hand, I think they need to be unpredictable on offense. They're about 2-to-1 run pass, and they need to throw when it's least expected. And they need to complete some passes in order to get the defense loosened up. And finally, I think most importantly, Germantown needs to play a perfect game. No turnovers tonight. They got to take care of the ball.
Should be an exciting ball game tonight in Mequon. Homestead and Germantown will have the kickoff coming up next. Welcome back to Mequon. Homestead Highlanders taking on the Germantown Warhawks. And weather going to be a factor here tonight. It's been raining since about an hour before our kickoff here tonight. I don't think the field's going to be in any bad shape, but it's just going to make for a slick football here tonight. About 52 degrees here, and northwest wind at about 5 miles per hour. That breeze is going to pick up at times, and we're going to have intermittent showers throughout our football game here tonight.
Yeah, the field's very dry, so it'll hold as much rain, I think, as we're going to get. And I think, in a way, it's probably good that a little rain to settle the dust. But there's Coach Datka. He's coaching his last North Shore Conference game tonight after 42 years at Germantown. I happen to know Phil. He's a great guy, and as people may have read in the paper last week, he's coached for the kids for all these years, and that's the truth. I know him, and that's what he's always done.
278 victories in that 42-year span, back in the playoffs, getting playoff eligible last week. So at least we'll have a run through the playoffs one more time for Coach Datka.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, both of these teams are kind of on the borderline between Division I and Division II, depending on how several games come out tonight. So they don't even know where to go scout probably because they have no idea which division they're going to be in.
Our national anthem tonight going to be performed by senior trumpeters Louis Menchaca, Warren Lindsay, Josh Lindsay, Alex Lewandowski, and David Haxton as they perform our national anthem tonight here on the sideline just below us.
Montgomery, line judge, Charlie Simon, head linesman, Mike Gustafson, back judge, Chad Zeller. At this time, we ask you to rise. Gentlemen, remove your hats, face the flag in the south end zone, and our country with the playing of the national anthem. Senior trumpeters, Louis Menchaca, Warren Lindsay, Josh Lindsay, Alex Lewandowski, and David Haxton perform our national anthem. football.
Homestead and Germantown tonight, and we're proud to bring you week number 9 here on the All-State Thursday Night Lights, a special edition tonight here on Wednesday evening. Mequon Homestead, a 61-game North Shore Conference win streak. You have to go all the way back to September of 2002, the last time they lost a conference game.
8.5 years.
8.5 years, and that was Cedarburg was the last team to get them here in league play.
And there were a few people that thought that Cedarburg might end that streak this year, and it was a very good football game, but Homestead, as they have many times over those 8.5 years, found a way to pull it out, and they did.
As we mentioned, both teams playoff eligible, so they will get an extended season this year. We talk about, and we will throughout the broadcast tonight, our thoughts on the playoffs upcoming next week, and we'll get a read on that. And again, these two teams right around borderline Division I, Upper Division II, and it really comes down to total attendance as they slot the teams in. Top 32 in attendance that make the playoffs, make the Division I field. The next 32 make Division II, so on and so forth, right on down.
Well, yeah, they have a formula that they pick 224 teams. Most of the teams are picked based on having a winning record in their conference play, but there are always a few teams that doesn't fill out the full 224, and so then they have another criteria, and sometimes teams that are 500 will get picked in order to fill that out to 224. Then they break it off, list them biggest to smallest, and every 32 they cut them off, and that's where the divisions are.
Highlanders will get the ball to start our football game. Matt Stern and Adam Outkelt back deep to receive. Alex Gasper does the kicking for Germantown. And we're just about set. On a showery Wednesday evening, Outkelt will get the kick at his own 10. Takes it back across field, across the 15, coming near side 20. And gets stacked up at about the 23-yard line before he is driven back there. So it will be Homestead Highlanders on offense to get things going here this evening. Cody Berger, the quarterback, a junior, 6 foot, 170 pounds. Very effective quarterback.
Started last year as a sophomore.
Yes, he did. Second straight year starting, and he's got a great offensive unit behind him. You'll see the double tight end set. They'll split him out occasionally, put a slot back, move one of the running backs in at slot, as they do here, as Berger will go in under center. He will turn and hand it off. This is the fullback, Easterling. Easterling across the 30, out to about the 33-yard line.
Straight ahead dive play, the fullback. Nothing very fancy, but you can see the offensive line comes off the ball and knocks Germantown off the line.
You'll see an awful lot of this throughout the evening tonight. A lot of ground game. You'll see a lot of check down. You see even the offensive line checking down here on 2nd down and 1. And again, they'll give it. And they'll get the first down. Easterling able to take it across the 35-yard line. Joe Kretlow there to make the stop for Germantown.
Didn't get it by much. Germantown defended that play, which was similar to the first play, defended it much better. You see that the Homestead doesn't huddle up, much like the two teams we had last week.
It's our first bank first down for the evening, and Berger going to drop back for the first time tonight. Lefty's going to sling it out far side, and catch is made. Going out there is Matt Pop, the tight end, junior 6'2", 195, able to make the catch out there for the Highlanders.
Just a straight drop back pass, nothing fancy. He runs a little out route, and he ends up with a couple yard gain.
Hertz out there on the coverage. Adam Hertz, we talked about him in the pregame. One of the defensive stars for this Germantown team. 2nd down and 7. Easterling again gets the call, and he'll break it. Easterling in the clear and will be tackled from behind near the 20-yard line.
Well, he is really quick, and that's from the shotgun spread offense, a little bit of zone read.
Chasen Brown chased him down for Germantown as we get a look at this one here. Carries that ball effectively, and boy, once he gets into the clear, and it was Brown who actually brought him down from behind. Big gain inside the Warhawk 20-yard line.
That was the straightest, or the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, and that's what it was.
He'll get the carry again, going far side, bangs his way inside the 15, down to the 14-yard line. Antoine Easterling, 5'7", 185. Brought down by Galganitis on the play.
Well, he's got 818 yards coming into this game. He's averaging a little over 6 yards a carry. You can see why they're giving him the ball. They're spreading out the defense, putting the pressure on the inside of that defense. Maybe trying to take advantage of the fact that Germantown does have an experienced player at linebacker, doing Galganitis in there, but he's certainly an experienced player, just not a linebacker.
Easterling again breaks a tackle, tries to get the edge, breaks another one at the 10. He's in for the score.
That was pure effort on the part of Antoine Easterling. He stepped out of 2 tackles and then in order to get that touchdown.
He was not going to be denied. Broke out of a tackle in the backfield, stepped out of one inside the 10, and took it to the house for the 6th time this year.
Well, here you can see right here, cuts up inside, gets out of that tackle, heads to the outside. You can see it was jammed up. Gets away from one more tackle and takes himself into the end zone. That's an excellent run.
72-yard drive capped off by the Easterling touchdown. Matt Stern on to tack on the extra point. Good spot. Ball is in the air, and it is good. 7-0 Homestead here. So the Islanders strike early. Easterling his 6th touchdown of the year, and it's 7-0 Homestead. Everyone at Thursday Night Lights asks you to support Allstate and their X the Text program. Allstate and My24 urges students and their families to stop texting and driving by pledging to X the Text. You can go online to allstate.com/teen to get more information.
Well, Homestead certainly is indicating they're not taking this game lightly. You know, they've qualified for the playoffs and have cinched the conference championship, but they obviously want to keep that winning streak going, I'm sure, but I don't think that's their motivation, but that's certainly out there. That was an impressive drive, and I think everything went to Easterling except for that one pass.
Dylan Krivashine and Malcolm Bowers standing deep, as Stern will tee it up. As we said, Homestead under Dave Keel, making it back into the playoffs. Won the state title in 06 and 08, so is this the even year? They try an onside kick up front off of a player, and it looks like Homestead may have it. And they do. Mequon Homestead comes up with the onside kick and able to pick that one up.
I'm not sure he was trying to hit that lineman, but the ball did kind of twist and turn towards him, and that ends up in Homestead's hands.
Dan Eades, I believe, made the recovery for Homestead. Just a line drive onside right off the ankle of the front man. So it will be Homestead ball at the Warhawk 38-yard line.
Dan Eades, who made the tackle, his dad is assistant coach for Homestead, was the head coach at Sheboygan Falls, very successful head coach at Sheboygan Falls for many years, so I'm sure he's been around the football field a little bit.
It's our First Bank First Down. Again, First Bank Financial Center, our first down sponsor this season on Allstate Thursday Night Lights, as Easterling gets the carry and gets stopped for no gain.
Well, Germantown needs to dig in here now and get a stop here. Hopefully get out with, at worst, a field goal. But 0 would be nice. That would negate what happened.
Again, no gain on the play. Sets up a 2nd down and 10.
See if Homestead goes to the pass here with just inside the 40-yard line there, getting into 4-down territory.
Looks like they'll line Berger up in shotgun formation. They have his Dantzler and Gerke to either side. Now he'll walk up, take it under center. He's going to drop back, 3-step drop, going for the fade here to the near side, ball in the air, and it's stripped, taken away from Max Beckers. Back up the near sideline with it. is the defender for the Warhawks. And that was Malcolm Bowers who comes up with the interception, just took it away from Beckers.
Well, that was a nice interception. Homestead is famous for lobbing that fade down there, and their left end, Max Beckers, is 6'6". He's a basketball player, had not played football until this year. Had a lot of friends on the team, decided he would come out, and he's the starting left end. But I think the experience of Bowers showed there when he took the ball away from him.
Brings the Warhawk offense out onto the field. They trail 7-0 here early in the first quarter. They'll go I formation, 2 receivers to the left. And this is Krivashine with the pass out to the far side, and the Homestead defense had that strung out well.
And a little bubble screen. Bubble screen means that the receiver just kind of bubbles back behind the line while the other receiver out there blocks the man on the line, and he catches the ball and tries to get as much as he can.
Matt Stern there to make the stop, the cornerback on that right side for the Highlander defense. Short gain of 2, 2nd down, 8 upcoming for the Warhawks. And we'll see a lot of rotation in that quarterback position between Krivashine and Mongan tonight. And that's Mongan in now for the 2nd down play. And he's going to try the fullback, and nothing doing there. The Highlander defense stiffens.
Well, Homestead plays, they like to get 8 guys on the line of scrimmage if you'll let them. They play 4 down linemen, 2 inside backers, 2 outside backers, and they like to pressure the line of scrimmage and maybe dare you to throw the ball. And I think Germantown's probably going to have to throw the ball a little bit more than they'd like to tonight to get that defense backed off.
So quarterback Mongan able to pull it back out of the belly of the fullback. Either way, it's going to be a 3rd and long here for the Warhawks, following the turnover on the Bowers interception. This is Krivashine going to throw it here to the near side. As a man out there, it just overleads him incomplete. J.R. Richmond, their leading receiver, the intended target.
Well, J.R. just bluffed a little bit of a short route and then took off, and he was actually open. Would have had to be a really good pass to be on the money, though, and wasn't quite there. But I think that does send a message that Germantown's not going to hang back. They're going to play to win.
Max Eggert does the punting for the Warhawks. Matt Schrader will stand inside his own 20, awaiting the kick.
Good snap. Very good snap.
Good punt, directional punt.
Too.
Yep,
Yes.
going to get a nice roll inside the 20 and out of bounds near the 16-yard line. So the Highlanders will get the football back. Warhawks unable to do anything following the Bowers interception. Remains a 7-0 game. Let's take a look at the Homestead offense starters here. Up front, we talked about Valmetti and Schober. Between them both, a combined 68 starts up front for the offensive line.
Worthington's only a sophomore.
We talked about Easterling, their leading ground gainer, and then the 2 tight ends, Beckers and Pop, for Homestead. So 1st and 10 for the Highlanders at their own 16-yard line. And they're going to give it to Easterling, and he's trying to break tackles out across the 20, out to about the 23-yard line. Nice 7-yard pickup that time by Easterling. Adam Hertz, the strong safety, and Galganitis able to make the stop.
You know, Easterling is only 5'7", 185, but he's got great balance. You can see that. He just shakes that first tackler like he's not even there.
There's your defensive front for the Warhawks. Talk about that. And Galganitis, the linebacker, came back from knee surgery a year ago. And then Adam Hertz leading that secondary. Bowers already with a pick tonight. So again, Easterling gets the call. This time the Warhawk defense ready up the middle. Freachel and company up front, able to hold him back.
Yeah, that was well done by the defense. There was 2 or 3 guys that had sniffed that play out. They've given the ball to Easterling every time except for a couple of throws, and we'll see what they do here now on 3rd down. It's a little bit too long to run maybe.
Our starting lineups tonight brought to you by Hits, specializing in team sports and spirit wear, apparel and promotional items at hitswisconsin.com. And we have our first penalty of the ball game.
Illegal procedure. The snap was a little bit late and everybody was moving. So I'll make it 3rd and 8. That makes it probably not a run unless he wants to play it safe.
Need a false start penalty here against Homestead. And Either team is one of those teams that will beat themselves with that yellow hanky.
That's true. Both seasoned veterans coaches, as we know, they're well coached and they don't make a lot of mistakes.
So 3rd and 8 here for the Highlanders. Midway through our first quarter, 7-0 Homestead, scoring on their opening drive, 72-yard drive, as Berger going to go for the pass here, near side, ball in the air, bobbled, and then caught. D'Angelo Dantzler down the near sideline. He will take it all the way for the touchdown. D'Angelo Dantzler, the junior running back, with a beautiful catch near midfield.
Got a flag. There's I don't know if it's going to be an unnecessary roughness hit or a block in the back or a little bit of both, but it was really unnecessary.
Let's get a look at this one. What a catch here by Dantzler.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be intercepted myself, but somehow that ball got through to him. Yeah, he misjudged it. Excellent catch. That was Adam Hertz, who's really a strong safety, not a cornerback, and he ended up having to play man-to-man on him.
Officials are talking over this penalty. The flag sitting at the 25-yard line. So we await the official signal.
It was really an unnecessary block because the play was at least 15 yards ahead of where that block was. And I know players trying to make a play, but that was really a bad decision, and I'm sure he'll probably be told that later. Right now the coaches are not happy about it, but it didn't have to happen.
Homestead will keep possession, but they'll take the points off the board. 15-yard penalty will move it out to the 40-yard line from the spot of that foul. But any way you look at it, Dantzler with that beautiful catch, I think we can go right to that as our good hands play of the game, brought to you by Allstate. I'll tell you right now.
We won't see many better than that tonight, I don't think.
With a slick football in the rain and the wind here tonight to come up with that ball and literally tip it to himself that time.
Exactly, yeah.
Homestead will retain possession. It'll be a 1st and 10 from the Warhawk 40-yard line. Ansel will line up in a slot this time to the right side. Easterling the lone tailback. He will get the call. Pulls his way up the middle, but a very stout Germantown defense able to stuff that one out for possibly a 1-yard loss.
Yeah, they got a second chance here now. They need to dig in. They're just outside the 40-yard line. They need to dig in here and not let them get down in there.
Galganitis and Fritchell, the nose guard combination up there. Middle linebacker, nose guard, able to make the play for Germantown. No gain, 2nd down and 10 from the 40-yard line. Berger going to drop back again. The lefty going to sling it up. Ball tipped, knocked away.
Berger's pass, incomplete.
Nice play that time. Able to knock that one, batted away.
It was number 77 who knocked it down. Well, we don't have number 77 on our roster, so we can't tell you who it is. Third and 10. Now that's this is probably a good opportunity to run a screen pass of some kind.
Well, let's see how the Warhawks line up. They will put 5 men down here. And we got penalty before the play. I believe we got to delay a game here on the Highlanders, so that will move them back 5 more. Going into the wind here midway through this first quarter. Again, scoring on their opening drive and then getting the football back via the punt. Bowers with the interception. Germantown unable to do anything with that. 3 downs and a punt. This is where we're at here. Dantzler thought he had a 60-yard touchdown, but called back because of a personal foul. Dantzler again will line up in a slot here to the near side. Easterling the low man in the backfield. Berger wants to pass again. Going to go far side. Ball in the air. Collision with the defensive back and the intended receiver out there. No call. Douglas Miller, the intended receiver, the 6 foot, 175-pound senior.
Homestead's passing game isn't a real sophisticated system from the type of patterns they run. They like to run people down the field, run them long, and throw that ball up and take a chance that they can win the jump ball. And so far that's helped Germantown tonight.
Nice job by Reindl that time to keep that one from getting in the arms of the intended receiver. As Homestead will punt this one away. An end-over-end kick. Warhawks will get away from it. They'll let it bounce. And it will roll dead inside the 15. So with just under 5 minutes remaining here in this first quarter, it's a 7-0 ball game. Highlanders on Thursday Night Lights, presented by Allstate. 7-0 Highlanders leading here midway through our first quarter. Let's head down to the sidelines and Josh Vernier.
Yeah, down here with Rebecca Monzingo, Boucher Automotive, and a bunch of her closest friends. Rebecca, appreciate the time. Final regular season game for All-State Thursday Night Lights. Why did Boucher get involved?
We're very involved with the community all around, and we really like to be a part of our local communities. This is a perfect opportunity because we have dealerships all over southern Wisconsin, so we hit up locations next to all of our dealerships.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you very much, Rebecca.
Absolutely.
Back up to the guys in the booth.
Josh and Rebecca, thank you very much, and we thank Boucher Automotive Group once again for their participation in the All-State Thursday Night Lights programming here this year. We appreciate their sponsorship very much.
Yeah, and we solved the mystery of who number 77 was. That is Jordan McComas, defensive tackle for Germantown, and he's evidently changed jerseys tonight.
Krivashine on the carry that time for a short gain of about 4, 2nd down and 6. Jonathan Naiman there to make the play for Homestead. We talked about field position tonight. So far, Homestead
has got him. They've kept him backed up. Right.
They followed through on that keys to the game. This is Mongan now in at quarterback. He'll work from shotgun. 3 receivers left. Looks right now, curls out to his left, wants to dump it out, completes the pass far side, and getting it out of bounds. Reindl that time on the reception.
Yeah, that was
Andrew
a little roll
Devick
left.
there.
Yeah,
Yep.
roll left, and right on the money. It was very well done. I said earlier in the keys, I thought that Homestead needed to contain the quarterbacks, and I really believe that they're not really drop back passers, they're more rollouts, and if they can get out where they can see, especially Mongan, who's a little short, he can get out where he can see better, he's going to have a lot more chances to complete his passes.
So another First Bank first down. First Bank Financial Center, our first down sponsor this season. First Financial Banking Center to discover the community bank difference. We got a flag, a delay game once again, this time on the Warhawks. Sure, I said that earlier. Neither team beats themselves via the penalty.
Right, yeah.
And we've had, what, four flags here in the first quarter.
Exactly. I don't think it's your fault, though, Jim.
For once.
All right, we'll give you a little bit of credit.
First and 15 for Germantown.
See if they go back to the pass here.
They'll work from shotgun, 4 receivers going out. Krivashine coming back near side, makes the completion here to the near side. Toshinsky, and he is wrestled down. Barely got a yard, if any, that time. Good job defensively out there by Adam Schwalbach.
Yeah, they gave him forward progress, so he actually got about 4 on that, which takes care of the penalty, but now they're at 2nd and 11.
Good textbook tackle there by Schwalbach, able to bring him down. A little help from Jemis that time, who came in for the cleanup. Second and a good 11 here. Slot receiver to the left. Krivashine will try and keep it. He's going to be met in the backfield and brought down for a loss back at the 25-yard line.
Good penetration by Jonathan Naiman. And then Dante Phillips on the other side had stuffed the lineman over there, and there was no place to go.
Angie Wichman there too, the defensive tackle on the inside, Phillips' counterpart. We talked about Phillips in our pregame tonight. He's headed to Indiana. He's going to play some Big Ten football. Well, back to a 3rd and 15 as the rain comes down once again. Yeah. Krivashine going to roll left. Now turns upfield. And we'll toss it out there. Nearly picked off twice. Tipped it by two different Highlander players that time. Looks like DeBink that time got a hand on it. And Matt Stern was the cornerback there with the near pick.
Like a volleyball setup almost. That's a Germantown unable to move the ball significantly either time they've had it. So
Highlanders should come away with good field position
here.
Field
position, I was just going to say that.
As Stern awaits the punt, standing near midfield. Good snap again. Egger gets off a nice punt. Stern drifts underneath that one. Check that's Schrader with the. Yep, and the Warhawks were there. Schrader back there this time, and he's buried back at the 36-yard line. James Hauser coming in for Germantown on special teams.
You know, we have a lot of games in the area tonight. A lot of teams are wondering about playoff situations. A lot of people depend on somebody getting beat in order to get in. There are a couple scores that might be interested. Tremper and Bradford, two rivals down in Kenosha, 7-7 in the first quarter. We've got Pius is down to Kettle Moraine 7. No, they're tied. Sorry, Pius and Kettle Moraine are tied at 7-7.
They run the inside trap that time. This time it's running back Dantzler. We had that spectacular catch earlier here in the quarter, but stopped for no gain here as Danny Olson, the linebacker, came in to fill the gap. And this time again, Dantzler stuffed way back behind the line. This will be a huge loss back near the 35-yard line. Once again, Olson coming in to make the play.
This is good. Germantown needs to try to get some field position back if they can go 3 and out and force the kick.
So get a look at this replay. This will be our Boucher big hit collision. If you've been in a collision, you can count on Boucher Automotive Group with body shops all over southeast Wisconsin to fix whatever is dented or broken on your car. And as we come back to live action, loose football near the 35-yard line.
Well, under these conditions, that's going to happen. It's just what happens when the ball gets wet.
Looked like big Luke Worthington, the 6'7", 225-pound left tackle, found the football there for the Highlanders to keep possession.
But Easterling never had it. He never did get the handle. So barring a long roll on the punt, I think Germantown should get some good field position here.
Morgan and Tushinsky back to receive the punt. Nice high directional kick here to Tushinsky. He'll take it inside the 35, and he's going to be driven back. Forward progress near the 35-yard line is once again getting down on special teams. It was Douglas Miller, the 6', 175-pound senior. So the Warhawks get the football back at their own 30-yard line. Well, when someone goes missing, it's up to a special unit of the FBI to find them. Don't miss the drama of Without a Trace. That's Thursdays at 7 on My 24.
Some other scores, Marquette ahead of Hale 7-0 in the first quarter. McWaunee goes ahead of Waukesha South 7-0. Arrowhead's up 14-0 on Memorial. That's a big game there.
1st and 10 Warhawk from their own 30-yard line. And the handoff goes inside. That is Tyler Barron, the sophomore. Not much there. Maybe squeezed out a couple that time.
Yeah, that defense is very stingy, and the middle of it is the strongest part of it.
And that will end our first quarter here in Mequon tonight. Homestead with the early score in their first possession. They lead it 7-0 on All-State Thursday Night Lights. $7-0 ball game in favor of Homestead as you get a look at Phil Datka, the Germantown coach, in his last regular season game as head coach for Germantown.
Looks like a professor there with those glasses down on the end of his nose. He is a professor of football, I have to say that.
Nice snap, and Mongan with big running room over the right side. Mongan, the quarterback, inside the 35 and brought down at the Homestead 33-yard line. Just a quarterback draw for Josh Mongan over the right side. Huge hole in Germantown, their first venture into Homestead territory.
Yeah, they spread the formation and got a linebacker out of there, and a little fake on to the back, just enough to distract and right straight up the middle of the field.
Got to credit Barron that time to play through that high snap and the fake. He was still able to crash down the end, get him on the turf to allow Mongan the hole that time over the right side. So 1st and 10 Germantown. Early second quarter, they trail by 7. Krivashine wants to throw it here right side, nearly picked, and it's dropped incomplete.
Yeah, Homestead read that really well.
Outstanding play, Matt Stern, the senior, 5'9", 165, nearly with a pick six that time down the near sideline.
And that was a little flood pattern by Germantown. They sent 3 receivers down at different levels, and Stern was back on the backer receiver and broke up on, he could see what was happening and broke up on that play and almost picked it off. He'd have been down the sideline for 6, I think, if he'd have been able to hand on to it.
Cole Reindl, the intended receiver that time, and Stern was there to make the play defensively. 2nd and 10. This time Mongan going to swing it out here. And that's Tushinsky, the flanker, able to make the catch. Gain out to about the 30-yard line. Still going to bring 3rd and long here for the Warhawks. In to make the stop, Naaman, the defensive end for Homestead.
Well, it's manageable. They're inside. They got about 7 yards to go. It's manageable. They're in at the 30-yard line. So I don't think they have a field goal kicker that can kick from this distance. So they probably take 2 downs to get this first down if they can.
They'll pull Fisher out. They'll bring Reindl back in. Krivashine will keep it over the right side. Same play inside the 25. Very close to a first down near the 23-yard line. That was almost the exact play that Mongan was able to run to set them up in Homestead territory.
And they got good yards on it. They're, again, probably 4th and 1, 4th and short for sure. And I don't think there's any doubt that they'll go for it.
Adam Schwalbach, the senior linebacker, with the
tackle.
tackle.
First down.
They did.
They did have a first down. Wow.
They were bringing the sticks that time. They just eyed it up. Said, yeah, got enough. So 1st and 10, Germantown. Spot the ball at the 22-yard line. Again, the quarterback draw.
Nothing
stuffed.
this time.
Homestead was ready that time up front. Mongan on the ball carry that time.
Went to the well once too often on this one.
Wichman, I believe, made the stop defensively. Benji Wichman, the junior, 6'3", 210. You get a look at Dave Keel on the sideline for Homestead. Keel with 190 plus victories, 193 to be exact.
I don't know if anybody won more games in this decade, first decade of the 21st century, than Homestead did.
Again, quarterback draw up the middle, and again the Highlanders were ready as they will stop the quarterback for no gain. That's Dante Phillips, the Indiana-bound recruit, able to make the play for the Highlanders.
I'm a little surprised. That's 4 times in probably the last 6 plays that they've run that. They did have a couple of successful ones, but I think rolling the quarterbacks out certainly gives them a chance to complete some passes.
Phillips with a little equipment problem following that tackle. Going to get that straightened out here. If he can't get it fixed, he may have to come out for a play.
Right.
Officials want the equipment manager to venture out here as they try and work with the headgear. It looks like we got everything set up here for Phillips as he's got that headgear fixed.
Well, they weren't going to take him out if they didn't have to, and evidently they were in the time limit, whatever that was.
Phillips, 6'3", 260 pounds. And that's part of this Homestead mystique, that defense that they produce year in and year out. Well, big 3rd down play here for Germantown. 3rd and 9 from the Homestead 20-yard line. They'll work it off the far hash mark. Mongan going to go deep. Battle for, and it comes up incomplete. Matt Eggert, the intended receiver. Once again, Doug Miller out there on the defensive coverage for the Highlanders.
Well, that was a height advantage to Germantown, but they couldn't quite pull it in. I think you have to give the defensive back credit for hanging in there and getting his hand up in there and fighting the hands of Eggert.
Pretty even battle there. Eggert 6'1", Miller 6 foot. So looks like we're going to get a field goal attempt here for Germantown. Adam Musha will come in to attempt the field goal. It is on the way. Plenty of leg.
Yes.
And it is no good. Wide to the left. So a missed field goal, missed opportunity here for Germantown. Remains a 7-0 ball game. Let's head back down to the sideline and Josh Vernier.
Down here with Jim Galkey, district manager over at Wendy's. You didn't bring any of the chili, did you, by chance?
No, I wish I had. It's not too bad a day for football, though.
We appreciate everything you guys have done for All-State Thursday Night Lights. What got Wendy's involved?
Well, it's just getting involved with the high schools and getting involved with the communities and just being a part of everything is just what we're out here for.
Well, Jim, we greatly appreciate all the support. I appreciate your time. Let's send it back up to the booth.
Josh, thank you very much. First offensive play following the missed field goal, and the running back stopped for no gain for the Highlanders. Once again, Easterling that time trying to get the corner here on the near side. Adam Hertz, the strong safety, and Galganitis, the two players we pointed out tonight.
Throw out to the kind of a quick screen type of thing. They had a little bucket formation where they had 3 receivers lined up in a triangle and tried to pull a fast one, I think, on Germantown, but they were up to it.
Easterling 10 carries, I should say, for 78 yards as Berger going through the play fake, finds the tight end over the middle, makes the catch out near the 40-yard line. Matt Pop, the junior, 6'2", 195, with the reception. Hertz with the tackle.
And that was just a little curl down inside the linebackers, and Cody Berger had that ball right on the money, and Pop brought it down and got a couple extra yards.
Go with the hurry up. 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line. Again, they give it to Dantzler this time, trying to swing around near side. Nothing doing. As there to make the play defensively was McComas, Jordan McComas, on the defensive stop for the Warhawks.
I think Germantown is starting to get the feel a little bit. I think the first few series, it just takes you a while to get used to the feel of what a team is like, and you can't duplicate it in practice with your scout team. But they're moving a lot better and reacting a lot better.
Loss of 4, 2nd and 14. They give it to the fullback, and again, Easterling stopped for maybe a 1-yard pickup, as again, Friechel, the nose guard, able to make the play.
It was a quick trap, and he was able to beat the block of the trap man.
We'll look at Joe Kretlow, the sophomore defensive end. Rather young up front for this Germantown team. 3 juniors and 2 sophomores up front.
That's true.
So 3rd and long now for Homestead. Berger going to drop back. Wants to go far side, makes the play out to Beckers. Beckers with the catch out across midfield into Warhawk territory at the 49, and a 1st down for the Highlanders.
Well, that's a sign of a well-coached team, and they needed 10 yards, and Beckers ran his route to 11 and caught it, and as a result, they ended up with a 1st down. The timing was excellent from the quarterback to the receiver.
Beckers, who just started playing football this year for a very interesting reason.
Yeah, his friends were on the team, you know.
Talked him into coming out.
But he had 21 catches coming into the game, and for a guy who never played on a team that's pretty deep in.
Gerke on the trap play that time, the sophomore, coming around the inside. Gain of about 9, just short of the 1st down. Malcolm Bowers, the free safety, able to come up and make the play. Gerke just a sophomore. 254 yards rushing this season, averaging just under 5 yards per carry. Just about the midway point here of our 2nd quarter. 7-0, Homestead leading, scoring on their opening possession here tonight. Since then, teams have traded a turnover and a couple of punts. So again, they try and go to Easterling, and nothing doing. McComas right there once again.
Trying to run a quick trap, and they're just they're all over it right now.
Olson also there, the inside linebacker, Danny Olson, 6 foot, 200 pound, leads the team in tackles coming into the game here tonight with 42, and then you get a look at Jordan McComas.
It's interesting because all of a sudden Homestead's running game has kind of gone away, but their passing game has kept the drive alive. which is a sign of a good football team. That's why they won 61 in a row.
And it off again and pick up the first down on this 3rd and short. Gerke again with the carry. And Chazen Brown able to make the stop defensively for Germantown as we get another look at this first down pickup for Gerke.
Chazen Brown is taking the spot where David Galganitis was, and Galganitis has moved into linebacker for Josh Klashewski, who has an injury.
Berger going for over the middle, and it's broken up, incomplete.
Adam Hertz, I think, knocked that down. That was very good defense.
Yep, Pop, the intended receiver, and Hertz. Boy, you can't get any better than that, right?
Yeah.
A defensive back named Hertz and a tight end named Pop.
Pop, right, yeah. In a football game.
In a football game, you got it.
If that ball had been another 6 inches, though, it would have been Pop and not Hertz.
Nice job to get that right hand up just at the last minute to knock it away from Pop. Adam Hertz, leader on that defense for Germantown. 2nd down and 10. The 35-yard line of the Warhawks. Berger, straight drop. Coming back near side. Ball through the hands of the intended receiver, incomplete. Miller, the intended receiver that time, just went right through his hands. Cole Reindl, the defensive back, there with him as well. So a 3rd and 10 facing Arrowhead here. Get another look at this one. A perfect pass.
See, this ball's right over his head. That's the toughest place to catch that ball. Right over your head, because you got shoulder pads and helmet to deal with, and sometimes you don't get a good look at it.
I'm sure he'll tell you he should have caught
Should've
that
caught
pass.
Yep.
3rd and 10. Pump fake right, comes back left, and through the hands of Dantzler, incomplete. So again, the dropsies here for Homestead on this particular drive.
Yeah, that's called what's called usually a rocket screen, where the flanker comes to the inside, tries to catch the ball on the run, and just go right up the middle of the field.
Well, let's see what the Highlanders do here if they elect to punt. Looks like that's what they'll do. They'll play the field position game here, try and angle this one into the coffin corner.
I believe that's a very good idea on a night like tonight.
Sam Anea does the kicking. And he'll kick this one away. He'll try and go that far sideline. Fair catch is signaled for and made on that far side by Tuschinski, and that will get us to our commercial break here in the 2nd quarter. Remains a 7-0 ball game, Homestead over Germantown. Our Real Fan Cam presented to you every week by Wendy's. Wendy's, you know it's real. Wendy and Frosty with a couple of friends here tonight on this rainy and breezy week number 9.
Well, it's a little cool, too. I don't think Frosty's going to melt tonight.
I'm with Josh. Should have brought the chili with us tonight, right?
I agree. The hotter, the better.
Well, the Warhawks have the ball at their own 11-yard line to start this drive. They like to try and run out of that backfield, and they are stuffed immediately at the line of scrimmage.
There was a little counter play, it looked like, from here, where the back took a jab step one way and then tried to come back the other way. And too much penetration from the defensive line from Homestead. I think that was Benji Wickman that was in there.
Tyler Barron on the carry, sophomore fullback. 36 carries this season, 3 of them for touchdowns for Germantown. Sets up a 2nd and 10. Again, they'll try that left side of the Homestead defense, and Highlanders were ready for that particular call as Sebastian Fisher gets the carry. Fisher, a 4-touchdown ball game against Nicolay earlier this year. Zach Rexigal there to make the stop defensively for Homestead.
Homestead's playing man-to-man pass defense, keeping as many guys in the box as they can. And I think that they realize that Germantown is a running team. They run twice as much as they throw it, and they're just forcing them they're daring them to beat them with the passing game.
Trevershine will keep it up the middle, 1st down and more, breaks a tackle out across the 40 and spilled down at the 41-yard line.
And that's exactly what can happen when you're playing man-to-man. You have 4 receivers running 4 defenders off. if they crack that front seven, there's nobody home.
Again, the hole opening up from the center to the right for
See
Krivosheim.
a quick fake, nice block by the back. And once he cracks through that front seven, there's nobody there.
Another first bank first down here for Germantown. Krivosheim with a nice play. Late here in the second quarter, 7-0 Homestead. Try trap here to the fullback, and again, the Homestead defense ready for that. As again, Fisher stopped for no gain. They have lost a yard.
It's like Naaman was in there for one of them.
Naaman and Jemis were both there.
Half-yard loss. It's a 2nd and 11.
So a 1-yard loss. So we go under 3 minutes to play here in this first half. Again, Highlanders scoring on their very first possession, just marched it right down the field and took only 2.5 minutes off the game clock, but that's our only score thus far.
Been pretty much playing between the 30-yard lines.
Nice snap. Mongan able to bring it down, but again runs into traffic. Too many red shirts across that line of scrimmage.
Private shoot on the carry.
And Naaman was there to make the tackle. The defensive end, the senior, 6 foot, 210 pounds.
That front seven of Homestead's a very active group. They're all good athletes as well as being good football players.
Everyone at Thursday Night Lights asks you to support Allstate and their X the Text program. Allstate and My24 urges students and their families to stop texting and driving by pledging to X the Text. Go to allstate.com/teen to get more information. 3rd and 11.
And now they're going to zone defense, so they don't get caught. Nobody home on that quarterback keeper. Nice throw. Nobody there.
The intended receiver cut inside for Germantown that time. Richmond, J.R. Richmond, instead of breaking outside. On the coverage here near side, Debink, the outside linebacker, the senior, 6'3", 205 pounds.
Yeah, you could see Krivosheim and Richmond talking about it. Krivosheim was surprised by where he was.
Max Eggert has been busy. He's back to punt once again here for the Warhawks. Strader standing inside his own 40. Nearly blocked that time by the Highlanders as Strader, a returnable kick. Gets it across the 40, but met right away and dropped down for no gain. Good coverage on the play by the Warhawks. As Cullen Moan there to make the stop defensively for Germantown.
That was a good play all the way around. A good rush, a good kick, a good catch by Schrader, and then good coverage.
Well, Friday night, Clark Kent continues on his epic journey to become the Man of Steel. You won't want to miss a moment of the final season of Smallville. Friday nights at 7 on CW 18.
We'll see if they have anything up their sleeve here now. They got a minute 46.
All 3 timeouts remaining here for Dave Keel and the Highlanders. They want to pass. And comes back near side. Completed catch here to the near side. Enough for a first down out to the 48-yard line. Miller on the reception. Reindl on the stop.
Yeah, Cody Berger has very good timing with his receivers. Miller took off as if he was going to go deep, and then he cut the pattern off and just stopped right there, and the ball was in the air right when he stopped, and there you see how open he was.
Danny Olson on the blitz on that last play as they run it out across the midfield stripe to the 45, and the Highlanders will take the first of their 3 timeouts here, stopping play with a minute 27.
So in 27 seconds, they've picked up a quick 20 yards, 25 yards maybe.
We get a look at Easterling tonight, just under 100 yards rushing, about 82 last we checked. So a timeout, Highlanders here, stopping play with a minute 27. Be sure to listen to the Wendy's Varsity Blitz scoreboard show. It's Friday nights at 7 on Sports Radio 1250 WSSP. Get updates and scores from all the area high school football games. Again, being Wednesday evening. Mike McGivern busy with those duties here tonight. A lot of scores, a lot of playoff implications. I saw one score there of personal note. South Milwaukee on top of Cudahy, 19-0. Wow, the battle of the Southsiders there.
Yeah, right. The reason we have these scores is Radio 1250 is doing their radio broadcast from the press box here because Mike McGivern, who does our pregame, is the guy who does their high school sports show. So he and Ron Davies are doing scores. And I would imagine they're going to send a few down our way here in halftime.
And our stat man getting some camera time on the sideline,
Right.
Josh Vernier, doing a great
Josh,
job.
He got an agent, and now he's on the sideline.
A second and short here for the Highlanders. Slots either side, 4 receivers going out. Single back is Easterling, and they're going to swing it out to Dantzler. Bobbles, makes the catch, trying to get the edge on that left side. Is going to be run out of real estate there right at the first down marker.
Yeah, I think he might have gotten it.
Joe Kretlow there to make the stop. We're going to look at D'Angelo Dantzler. Junior, 328 yards rushing, almost 6 yards per carry this season. And again, they rushed for over 1,300 yards, but not a 1,000-yard rusher between them. It's
Well,
really balanced, which tells you it's a balanced offense. Everybody getting their fair share.
Well, and Coach Keel was reluctant to point out anybody on offense who had really been dominant, and that's because they don't really have a dominant player. I think Easterling probably is the closest thing they have. There have been years when they've had an outstanding quarterback or something like that, but they still play team football, which is why they are so successful. You can't, if you have a star system, then you need to have a couple stars in case one star gets hurt. And most teams that are successful don't play a star system, especially in high school.
Well, they measure and pick up the first down on that play by Dantzler. So 1st and 10, Homestead.
This is really key for Germantown. If they can keep them from scoring here, I think they could successfully say that they've had a good first half.
Play action. Berger coming back near side and just over leading Dantzler that time, who was open. A little too much air underneath that football for Cody Berger.
Well, that's a really tough throw. That was a little wheel route out of the backfield. A wheel means that he's going to come to the sideline and bend it outside and then down the sideline. And that's a really tough throw because it comes over his head, and you don't have a lot of room to throw it without getting it out of bounds.
And you look at Dave Keel, he's his own offensive coordinator here for the Highlanders. It's the rain falling hard now once again.
Another math teacher who's head coach, Jeff Klemp from Franklin's a math teacher, and so is Dave Keel.
They say X's and O's, but is that X and Y?
Yeah, that's true. Those trapdoor minds that those math guys have.
Berger under pressure, comes back near side looking for Miller, a jump ball, and it's incomplete.
I don't think the defensive back picked that ball up either, and had he been able to handle it, it would have been inside the 5-yard line.
A tough grab there for Miller as well. You come back, turning back into that driving rain, looking for the football as well.
Right.
So 3rd and 10 now for Homestead. 66 seconds to play here in this second quarter.
Germantown's doing a good job of keeping the quarterback contained. I think they're dropping 6 and 7 guys into coverage, so if he would get away from that front 4, that would be a problem.
They run double slot here. Here comes the pressure. Berger again able to step up. He'll run it up. Berger trying to get to the sideline, and he'll make it. Short of the first down, he was hit hard out of bounds, and there's a late penalty flag coming in. Absolutely there, a late hit. And that's just a bad decision on the part of that Warhawk defender that time, who tried to run him out of bounds and give him the what for well after the sideline. Let's get a look at it.
The bad thing that could happen to Germantown right now is that right there. That's going to give him a first down. Still got a minute to go. It would have been 4th and 11. No, it's probably 4th and maybe 7. Now it's going to be first down.
There was Chad Wanick, a senior linebacker, with the shove well past the boundaries. So add 15 more to the end of the run to move the ball down to the 20-yard line for Mequon Homestead. Again, they have 2 timeouts remaining here with just under a minute to play. Again, they'll split the receivers out. Pop coming to the near side. And Becker's out to the far side, and they'll try the run up the middle, and it was stuffed immediately again. The middle of that Warhawk defense read that well, and Homestead forced to burn their second timeout. I believe it was McComas again, the sophomore, who read that play beautifully.
I thought the split end flinched out there a little bit and probably should have been a motion penalty. The officials didn't see it.
This is huge now, trying to take advantage of the penalty. You want to punch this inning get some points here. As
there's a lot of difference going in at halftime, 14-0 and 7-0. If you're, obviously you're down by 1 score. I think Germantown gets the ball first the second half too. So this is really big, and I'm not sure how good the place kicker is for Homestead, whether they can get a field goal out of this if they don't get in the end zone. But getting 0 points is Germantown's objective right now.
Again, a very nice turnout tonight. Students and fans coming out to support both their teams. The visitor stands completely full. Mequon stands here. The Homestead faithful bundled up and trying to stay dry here this evening as well.
Well, these two schools are right down the road from each other on Mequon Road, and probably 4 or 5 miles apart at the most. So it's a good rivalry, one of the best ones in the North Shore Conference.
4 receivers once again, slot left, slot right. Berger looking to throw, now steps up. On the run is Berger across the line of scrimmage. Will tuck it inside the 15 down to the 13-yard line. Again, short of the first down. Clock continues to roll, 40 seconds to play. Friedel there on the stop, the nose guard for the Warhawks.
Germantown's doing a good job of containing the quarterback. When they've got the receivers well covered, and when he tries to run, they really close it in a hurry.
3rd and short. And they'll run it up the middle, and to the goal line. Is he in? Yes, touchdown.
I think that was Miller.
Gerke, I believe, on the carry, he took it all the way in.
23 instead of 33. Yeah, I think it was Gerke. Yeah, he just took it right into the goal line. He wasn't going to be stopped.
3rd touchdown of the year for the sophomore Tyler Gerke. So we get a look at this one. He just kept the pile moving.
Right through the whole team.
Watch this, just kind of slipped on through and then moved the pile across the goal line, broke the plane. Huge touchdown here.
That is huge.
Able to capitalize on the personal foul roughing penalty that set them up at the 20-yard line. Stern for the extra point. It is on the way and hits the left upright.
So they left the door open. Germantown's got to find a way to get on the scoreboard now.
But Tyler Gerke, his 3rd touchdown of the year, gives the Highlanders a 13-0 lead late here in the first half. It's still up 2 scores going into that locker room. Dave Keel got to feel a little bit better about the way things are. And for Phil Datka there on the far sideline, got to try and get the offense going. They had a couple of nice big runs by their quarterbacks between Mongan and Krivashine.
They haven't been able to finish anything.
No.
That's kind of the same way that they were when we had them earlier with the game with Whitefish Bay. They would threaten, but they couldn't finish. And I know that's probably, look back at the season, that's probably the story of Germantown this year. They have qualified for the playoffs, so one of their objectives, I'm sure, is to give Coach Duck as many games as he can possibly have the rest of the way.
See if Stern kicks this one away or if he tries a little pooch kick here, and that's exactly what he's going to do, a little chip shot. It's going to angle its way to the sideline and make it into the end zone. Boy, that was awfully close to going out inside the 10, but made the end zone for the automatic touchback. So the Warhawks will get the football at their own 20, down 2 scores here with 17 seconds to play in the half.
I don't know if Germantown will take a couple shots at it or not. They'll just go in and regroup and come out and try to find a way to get on that first time in the second half. We'll see what they think here. Quarterback under center. I don't know. I think they're maybe going to take a knee.
Krivashine. Going to hand it off.
On the other hand, he's going to go to the fullback straight ahead.
It's a simple fullback dive that time for the Warhawks. On the carry that time was Sebastian Fisher, and that will run out the clock. Phillips making the tackle, and the Homestead Highlanders will head to the locker room, getting a late touchdown here as they're able to go up by 2 scores. Tyler Gerke's touchdown here late, 13-0 your score, and I think we also see here tonight that the weather has been kind of the even intangible here for both schools, trying to weather through this rain that keeps coming through.
Well, yeah, it's one minute it's raining. Looks like right now it's not raining, but the temperature has dropped significantly. Although it doesn't affect the players, they're nice and warm because of their body energy. But right now, I think the difference in the game is the first score that, of course, that Homestead got, but the penalty here at the end really did hurt Germantown. I'm sure Coach Docker will probably have a couple words of wisdom for his team in that regard.
Well, let's head down to the sideline. Josh Vernier and Coach Dave Keel.
All right, down here with Coach. Coach, you put 6 on the board right before half. What's the message at the half?
Well, the message at the half is Germantown's an incredibly good football team, and they're coming back hard. So we are going to have to play disciplined, assignment-sound football. Too well coached, too good of players. We have to be ready second half for a shootout.
Coach, best of luck.
Thank you very much, guys. Keep up the great work.
Thank you. Let's head back up to the booth. John and the coach.
Josh and Dave, thank you very much. So an early touchdown on the first drive, a late touchdown on the last drive for the Highlanders here tonight. They lead it 13-0 on a special edition of All-State Thursday Night Lights on My 24. Touchdowns by Antoine Easterling and Tyler Gerke have put the Highlanders up 13-0 over Germantown in our special edition of the All-State Thursday Night Lights here on My 24. Right now, we'd like to highlight a very special student, the Boucher Automotive Group, proud to bring you tonight's presentation of our Scholar Athletes of the Week. That's Al Bonifiglio, CFO of Boucher Automotive Group, presenting our Scholar Athlete of the Week award to Taylor Johnston from Germantown High School. Taylor has a 4.0 GPA and is ranked first in her class. She participates in volleyball at school and in club and plays basketball. Taylor was voted North Shore Conference Scholar Athlete of 2010. She's a member of Peers for Peers and holds down a job as a hostess at the Quilted Bear Restaurant. And Al also presented a Scholar Athlete of the Week award to Andrew Debink from Homestead High School. Andrew has a 4.55 GPA and is a member of the National Honor Society. He participates in football and basketball and was chosen first team all-conference in football. He's also active in his church and with youth football programs. Tonight's Scholar Athletes will be in the running to receive a $5,000 scholarship courtesy of the Boucher Automotive Group. One of our weekly Scholar Athletes will be chosen to receive that award at the end of the season. Once again, back down to the sideline, and Josh Vernier.
Yeah, and down here with Trooper Robert Simpson. Appreciate the time down here with All-State and My 24 Thursday Night Lights. Talk about your involvement.
Well, we're here today to spread the good word about texting and no texting and driving, wearing your seatbelt, and be observant while you're driving.
Trooper Simpson, obviously from Wisconsin Department of Transportation. Now, if you could, I know it's impossible to get high schoolers' attention nowadays. If you could get a few minutes with them talking about texting with driving, what would be your main message?
The main message is they need to occupy themselves on how to operate the vehicle. Don't be playing with your cell phone. Don't be trying to text and drive. Don't following too closely. You're speeding. But the most important thing you want to hit out there is that seatbelt. You need to wear your seatbelt. If you don't wear your seatbelt and you get into a crash, most likely you're going to be severely injured or even die. And that's the one thing we do not want. We want you to be able to drive and be on our roads in a long time in the state of Wisconsin.
And whether it's the seatbelt, texting while driving, are you seeing kids nowadays taking it more seriously?
Some you do, some you don't. You hear about all the bad fatalities out here on the road. You hear about a lot of the bad mysterious crashes out here, and they'll be at certain high schools or certain areas, and the next day you'll see a person from that same high school or that area driving without a seatbelt, or they'll be texting while they're driving, and one of their high school classmates had fallen from doing the exact same thing the day before. So they didn't get it, and I don't understand why they don't.
Trooper Robert Simpson, Wisconsin DOT, greatly appreciate the time. Thank you very much. All right, much more of All-State's Thursday Night Lights on My 24 coming up next.
Two-score lead here for the Homestead Highlanders over the Germantown Warhawks as we get a look at members of the Wisconsin National Guard. They're here for all of our games this year. We thank the National Guard for being part of our sponsor here of the All-State Thursday Night Lights programming this season. They've been giving away T-shirts and different items this week. I think I saw seat cushions this week.
Yeah.
Nice in that National
Need
Guard
them
blue.
tonight, too. You're sitting on that wet aluminum that
So we get a look at the highlights from our first half of ball game, and Mother Nature taking over some of that highlight tonight. It has rained off and on throughout this ball game, but big play here by Easterling.
Yeah, he's a very good back. He's got great balance. He's not big, about 5'7", 185, but he's got a really wide base when he runs, and he makes guys miss. So you'll see right here.
Nice run. Finally brought down from behind. That set up the Homestead first touchdown drive of the ball game inside the 20-yard line, and it was Easterling who was able to finish it off. Watch him break tackles.
2 tackles, yes. Gets away from McComas there.
It was 7-0 at that point, and then for Germantown, it's as you pointed out, it's been a tough night to finish. They got one big break here, and this is the Bowers interception taking it away from Beckers that time and racing it up the field. Their best field position to start their drive tonight, but unable to finish their drives.
Just they can get a couple first downs, and they've been able to get themselves out of trouble field position-wise, but they haven't been able to get down and threaten any consistency at all.
Near turnover here by Homestead, deeper in their own territory, but able to recover. And here's the big run by Mongan, their quarterback.
Kind of a quarterback draw play right down the middle of the field, and taking advantage of that man-to-man pass defense. And
Berger to pop that time, set up the Homestead on their.
That was really well done.
Beautiful second half drive here, and then Dantzler being brought down from behind. McComas, who's had a big game here with several tackles.
Has, Another quarterback keeper. This is Krivershine, the senior.
Does a nice job
Almost
waiting for his. Yep, he was just one block away from getting it all the way home that time. Yeah. Again, Berger coming back near side. Miller, who's had a couple of passes go through his hands, hung on to that one. That set up this drive that they were able to finish here late.
A little quick screen out to the left to Dantzler. Able to get the first down, I believe.
We'll see the run here.
Pulls it down and then gets a run. That's where the penalty comes in right
there. The extra shove out of bounds, you bet. And that set them up at the 20-yard line. And looked like,
this
again,
is a scramble here.
Berger with the scramble, but Islanders weren't done. One more big play, and that was Gerke moving the pile into the end zone for the second touchdown, the extra point hitting the upright. And that's where we stand after one half of play, 13-0 Homestead, as rain has stopped for the moment here as you get a look at the faithful on hand here in Mequon tonight.
The two runs for touchdowns were both very impressive runs. They were, I think, more desire than great blocking. Not that there wasn't any blocking, but this is just two backs who weren't going to be denied.
When we come back, we'll get you some of the numbers of our first half, but the numbers that are most important, the Highlanders leading the Warhawks 13-0. Nothing. Homestead on top of Germantown through one half of play. John Weiser, Dick Basham back with you. Special Wednesday night edition of the All-State Thursday Night Lights here on My 24. As we take a look at some of the first half numbers here tonight, and dominated by the Highlanders.
Well, that's pretty much indicative of how the score is too. Only 4 first downs, about 80 yards rushing and 20 passing, which is pretty typical for Germantown. Nice balance for Homestead, 125 rushing, 110 passing. The one turnover that the interception that they were able to survive. So I'd say right now it's probably going a little bit to form. I'm sure Germantown is going to try to pull something together here in the second half. They need to get a score on the board early, cut it to 1, so there's always that threat to come back, because we do have the missed extra point, which has kept the door open for a couple scores and the next 2 extra points, and you win 14-13. So I'm sure that's what they've talked about, and we'll see if they can pull it together in the second half.
Easterling with the first touchdown tonight. He has 89 yards on 14 carries. Gerke, the one touchdown toward the end of the first half, 3 carries, 29 yards, and the touchdown tonight, the only scoring thus far. Well, we wanted to talk a little bit. We mentioned the Schober and Velmetti, the 2 offensive linemen for Homestead, being the leaders on this team, and they're part of also something here at Homestead called the Highlander Leadership Team.
Well, in the offseason, Coach Keel picks a group of 15 to 20 players that he calls his leadership group, and they go through some training. But it's a group that takes care of business, so to speak, during the season. If players need to be reminded of various things, somebody gets out of line, You always have the threat of breaking training rules and stuff like that. This is a group of kids that have the respect of all their teammates, and if somebody seems to be dealt with something, a problem in the locker room, there are many things that happen in a football team in a big organization. It's kind of the board of directors, so to speak, and these are the two guys at 6'3" and 275 and 6'2", 260. I would imagine you don't argue a lot with those two guys, as well as the rest of them. I think Dante Phillips is in that group too. So it's a good idea. We've done, when I was at Marquette High School, we had a leadership group of about 8 to 10 players, not quite as big, and we tried to just use them as a sounding board and to see what's going.
Let's head back down to the sideline. Josh has Coach Phil Datka with him.
Yeah, sure do, guys. Appreciate it. Coach, greatly appreciate the time. At the half, a lot of emotions, I would imagine, for you. What was the message to the guys?
Well, we just got to get some offense going here. Our defense has been on the field way too long. It's been a good game. We gave them one there at the end, and at the end of the half, we got to come back. We can do it, and that's all I told them, to play hard, keep playing hard.
Well, Coach, they'll do that in the second half for you. We appreciate the time.
Thanks.
Back up to the booth.
Josh, thank you very much, and congratulations on a nice run by Phil Datka as his regular season will come to an end, but playoff football in the future for the Warhawks. 13-0 Highlanders. Back with second half action right after this. Second half action set to begin here. The rain has moved out, but the wind has picked up out of the north. It has dropped the temperature, and that's going to affect the play from right to left as you look at it from home here tonight. Highlanders with the 2-score lead as you get a look at Dave Keel and that Homestead Highlanders sideline trying to extend their conference winning streak to 62 if they hang on with the win here tonight.
Yeah, and Germantown's going to be against the wind to start out with, so I would imagine this kickoff will probably end up in the end zone. They'll get it on the 20-yard line, unless they kick a ground ball.
Matt Stern, their place kicker, also starting corner, also a return man on this Highlander team. Will lead us off into the second half here tonight. He's going to try that short kick once again. Picked up by one of the short men at the 20, up the near sideline across the 35, and driven down there. Tyler Barron on the reception that time, the sophomore up the near side. Matt Schrader coming up on special teams, also doubles up as the punter, able to make the tackle.
So they got good field position to start out with.
Well, Krivashine tonight, 10 carries for 33 yards. Mongan, 17 carries for 49 yards, the leading ground gainers for the Warhawks in that first half, and it'll be Krivashine who will start at quarterback on their first offensive set. They'll have Fisher in the backfield. They'll try and reverse to the right, and Homestead read it well. It'll be a loss. Wickman that time on the play, the defensive tackle well across the line of scrimmage for a loss all the way back near the 28-yard line.
Yeah, that's a 10-yard loss, so now it's second and 20. That was kind of an unusual play. It was a direct snap to the quarterback, and he reverse pivoted and took off to his right. And I'm not sure if it was a broken play or just great defense. Whatever it was, it's a 10-yard loss.
Second and 20. 3 receivers here to the near side for the Warhawks. Krivashine wants to keep it, and the Highlanders read it well. Once again, Naaman, the defensive end here on the near side, stepping up across the line for another loss.
It's like they're in the huddle and you know the play almost. They're deeper in the backfield than the running backs are.
For the Warhawks, pretty experienced up front, seniors across the board.
Yeah.
Hahn, Bardo, Zorn, Schultz, Anderson, and Richmond. Your offensive line for the Warhawks. And
they hadn't played much. They didn't play much last year as juniors, but now they've got 8 games under their belt. We can't make any excuses for them.
3rd and 27. What do you dial up here? Well, they're going to swing it out near side, and on the reception is Eggert, the split end here to the near side. We'll take it back close to the original first down marker, but well short of the first down, and so the Warhawks 3 and out.
I think what you're hoping for now is to get a decent punt, maybe kick it away from the return man and see if you can get a roll on it, because you are kicking against the wind.
Schrader going to stand at his own 40, awaiting the Eggert punt.
Homestead, I think maybe we'll go after it since they are kicking against the wind. Probably not going to get a return chance.
Nice snap back to Eggert. Kind of a knuckling punt. Homestead will get away from it, and it goes out of bounds near the 40-yard line. Let's see where they mark it out.
42.
About the 42, so good field position here for Homestead to start their first possession of the third quarter.
That is not the way that Germantown wanted to start the second half, but so now what they need to do is the defense has got to show up as it did most of the first half and get the ball back right away.
We'd like to thank First Bank Financial Center, our first down sponsor this season. First Financial Banking Center. Discover the community bank difference. 1st and 10 Highlanders from their own 42-yard line. They'll go shotgun here with Berger at quarterback. He's going to hand it off, and falling down immediately was Easterling trying to make a cut off that right foot.
Counter play, he takes a jab step to his left and then comes back to the right, and he was going to cut and cut on the wrong foot. He tried to cut on his inside foot, and that's very difficult to do.
14 carries, 89 yards, and a touchdown thus far for Easterling tonight. So you get a look at Cody Berger, the quarterback, a junior, second-year starter here for the Highlanders. And now officials will stop play. Right away, Homestead wants the timeout. 7 of 15, 111 yards for Cody Berger in that first half. And again,
evidently he didn't like something that he called. Sometimes you send a play in and you realize you maybe had the wrong formation or something like that, or just didn't like the play at all. And rather than run a bad play, especially in a situation now where you can maybe just put this game away a little bit if you can score here, I think it's probably a wise timeout.
Berger's numbers tonight match just about his season totals, just under 50% completion rate.
Right.
He's thrown over for 1,000 yards and 15 touchdown passes. Kind of the game manager, if you will.
Right.
And when you get into these multiple offenses, that's the one thing you're looking for out of your quarterback. Just manage the offense. Now, before we get set for the second down play, once again downstairs to Josh Vernier.
Yeah, here with Howard Tim, Allstate agent. And Howard, we appreciate the time. It's been an outstanding year for Allstate and My 24 Thursday Night Lights.
Thank you very much for having us here as well.
And what got you guys involved in this?
Well, teens die every day. I believe they on average 11 in car crashes. And so it just is natural for us to get involved into something like this.
Well, Howard, we greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Let's head back up to the guys.
Josh, thank you very much. Doing an outstanding job filling in for Mike McGivern, who's doing his radio show tonight right here in this same press box. It's part of the Wednesday night highlight package on WSSP. But Josh Vernier doing a fantastic job. As you saw, the pass intended for Beckers went incomplete. So 3rd and 12 now for the Highlanders.
Well, we'll see what this was, why they called timeout here maybe.
Berger with time, now hit from behind as he tried to get that pass off. Adam Hertz on a blitz that time, got to the quarterback and sets up the incomplete pass.
Well, he came from his blind side. He's a left-hander. He rolled out to the left, and Hertz came from the right, or from the left side of the defense, and was able to break that up before it ever got going. He was bringing Dantzler in underneath the route. You can see that right here. Dantzler's on the outside, number 25. He comes in right there, and he was fairly open had the ball been catchable.
Our Boucher Big Hit Collision. If you've been in a collision, you can count on Boucher Automotive with body shops all over southeastern Wisconsin to fix whatever is dented or broken on your cars. That punt sails inside the 20, inside the 5, and can't quite catch up to it as Matt Stern to down it. It'll head in the end zone for the touchback.
Germantown was fortunate there. That didn't roll dead inside the 5-yard line. But, it's going to look good for the kicker as far as his average is concerned, but Germantown will get it on the 20.
So neither team able to do much on their opening possession of this second half. 13-0, Homestead leading. Touchdown early, a touchdown late in that first half for the Highlanders. Get a look at Phil Datka.
Phil's the offensive coordinator. He calls the plays.
Play action, Krivashine near the near side, and that pass was incomplete, thrown low, only in a spot where his receiver could get there.
It was pretty close to a catch. We don't have any instant replay, or I don't have any review or anything like that. We do have instant replay. But it was pretty close to the sideline.
J.R. Richmond, the intended target. Stern, the defensive back there to break it up. Richmond, their leading receiver. We talked about that. The Richmond brothers. J.R., the leading receiver at tight end, and Alec Richmond, the running back, the leading ground gainer for this Warhawk team.
Alec we haven't called his name much tonight. He hasn't carried the ball much. It's been mostly the quarterbacks. Tyler Barron's had a couple carries.
Shine stays in the ball game, 2nd and 10. Check that, that's Mongan who hands it off, and coming around the right side, big gain, short of the first down.
There's a little option to the right. He faked the dive to the fullback and pitched it to the back on the left who had gone behind him to become the pitch man.
Fisher, the ball carrier, Matt Schrader, the defensive player there to bring him down, short of the first down, sets up 3rd and short here for the Warhawks.
It's a key first down possibility, because if they don't get it, then they're of course punting again. It's in the wind, they're going to lose some field position. Plus they need to keep the ball, they need to go down and score. It's just that simple.
You get a look at Sebastian Fisher, 5'9", 180-pound junior.
Nobody on, there's only got one defender out here.
Krivashine, a little confusion here, and I think the Warhawks want to talk about it. They'll take a timeout. Just over 8.5 minutes to play here in this third quarter. It remains 13-0 Homestead.
Well, Homestead was more confused than Germantown was, because they only had one defender on 2 receivers out here.
Well, he used to be a spy. Now he helps other people in trouble. The hottest show on cable now comes to network TV. Watch Burn Notice tonight after the game right here on My 24. So each team taking a timeout here early in this second half.
Every down's important here now. You can't, we're in the second half game that's winnable for both teams, right? Each team has a shot yet. Even though Germantown's down 2, they certainly are in this game. Their defense is good enough to keep Homestead from scoring, I believe, the rest of the way. They have to find a way to move the ball, which has been, I think, been a little bit of a problem for them this year. They haven't really beaten any of the better teams in the league. They've beaten the teams they're supposed to, but they weren't able to handle Cedarburg, and they didn't and couldn't beat Whitefish Bay. So this would be a huge win for them if they can pull this out.
Well, big third down here for Germantown,
Still
3rd and 3.
One defender on these 2 receivers here.
And the pitch goes back to Fisher, and he is stopped. I think his knee went down short of the first down.
They had the option play called, and because the defender wasn't out there, he was inside and able to play the pitch.
Let's get a look at this one as you see Fisher get the pitch here. And it was Xavier Crumpton.
Right?
Yeah, got in there right away.
He's the guy who should have been out on the other receiver, but fortunately it worked out for him.
Another punt here for the Warhawks. Eggert. As Schrader stands near midfield. Again, punting into a pretty brisk north wind here now. High snap. Eggert able to bring it down, and a low punt that will bounce short of the 45 and roll dead at the 45-yard line.
Well, it's a huge shift now. They're Homestead by default is almost moving the ball towards the goal line. So
just an 18-yard punt here for the Warhawks will give the Highlanders possession at the Germantown 45-yard line with 7:43 to play. As you get a look at how breezy it is up here in Mequon tonight. At least the rain has moved out.
It's definitely a factor right now.
Berger will get them set at the line of scrimmage. Again, they'll go with 2 slots, 4 receivers. Easterling, the lone man in the backfield. Long count by Berger. 2-step drop, wants to swing it out through the hands of the intended receiver, Gerke, incomplete.
Just a little bit overthrown. That was a bubble screen again. That was. I don't think that play was going to go very far, even if he had caught it, because the Germantown defenders really got a good break on the ball.
Hertz, Adam Hertz, the strong safety, was right there. 6'2", 175-pounder. Already has 1 interception this year. That was a 40-yard touchdown return against Milwaukee Lutheran.
Straight dive, no gain.
And again, each defense here tonight has really stiffened up since the opening series. Gerke with nowhere to go that time.
It's real interesting. Also, they've really gone away from Easterling, and he carried the ball almost exclusively for the first 8 minutes, and now it's rarely in the second quarter and first part of the third here.
Danny Olson there on the stop. 3rd and 9 now for the Highlanders, just inside the Germantown 45-yard line. They'll run the draw play, and nowhere to go is Easterling, as again the Germantown defense getting across the line of scrimmage. Looked like Freichel there at that time, able to make the play, the junior, along with Danny Olson. So we get a look at this one again.
There's a draw play right there. It starts out to look like a pass, and then a subtle handoff to the back, and it was so subtle that nobody was fooled, I guess.
So a 3 and out for the Highlanders after giving good field position at the Germantown 45. When they had to punt this one away, he'll have the wind at his back. A high snap, able to bring it down. High punt, coverage able to get down, and circling under it, making the catch. Coming back up the near side.
It's a gutsy catch because he was inside the 10-yard line, and he didn't fair catch it. He reversed out of there and actually got about 7-8 yards.
Tajinski, the junior, did not signal the fair catch. DeBank, the defender, able to get down. Also our scholar athlete for Homestead tonight.
Smart kid making a smart play.
So 6:16 to go here in this third quarter. Remains 13-0 Homestead. Neither team able to finish their drives here to start this second half. Krivashine again in at quarterback for Germantown. He wants to pass, comes back near side, completes to Richmond. J.R. Richmond across the 25 out to the 26-yard line. Good gain that time on the quick hitter to the outside to J.R. Richmond.
Right, they're going to have 2nd and short here now.
Matt Schrader coming up to make the play.
2nd and 3.
Dropped to 46 degrees. We got gusts to 31 here.
Well, you can tell up here in the press box, and we have the windows pretty much closed. It's cool out there.
Gain is 7, 2nd and 3, facing the Warhawks. It's Mongan now in at quarterback. Again, they'll shuttle the quarterbacks almost every other play. Mongan wants to pass, has time, pump fakes it out, looking for Tashinsky, had it and dropped it.
Well, as good a play as he made on that punt, that was really one he should have caught there. That was right in front of his face, in his hands.
Second leading receiver on the team with 10 catches, and 1 for a touchdown this year. Had one there. Would love to have this one back.
Right. A little bit out of balance and couldn't quite pull it in.
So 3rd and 3 for the Warhawks.
I think a rollout with a quarterback option, a run or pass is maybe would be in order here.
Krivashine at quarterback. He's going to hand it off.
Give it to the fullback.
Yeah, the fullback with nowhere to go. May have lost a yard or two. It's on the carry. That was Jacob Baker, his first carry tonight, the 5'10", 175-pound senior. So, again, 3 and out. Naaman and Wickman able to make the stop defensively, and another 3 and out by the Homestead defense.
Pretty much in a punting contest here right now. It's
once again, Eggert. Get a good snap this time. Nearly blocked again as this wind will just die across the 40-yard line. And again, just a 17-yard punt.
right.
And when we come back, it'll be Homestead ball well into Germantown territory with the Highlanders leading 13-0 on a special edition of All-State Thursday Night Lights. A real fan cam presented to you every week by Wendy's. Wendy's, you know when it's real. Highlander fans on the home side. A couple of people look like they're ready for deer hunting season already.
Right. Must have been, kids must have got the memo that it was orange night.
You picked up on something here. Homestead has gained field position here in the last 3 punts.
The last 3 punts. The first punt, I think they fielded at about their own 45. Then the next one was at Germantown's 45. Now they're at the 40-yard line. And so Germantown, with the effect of the wind, is they're losing about 5 yards every time they exchange.
Now a penalty marker thrown by the umpire.
Must be an equipment problem. Unless somebody flinched.
It is a false start penalty here against the Highlanders. Sets up a 1st and 15. So
well, that helps Germantown a little bit. Get them out of 4-down territory.
Let's see how Cody Berger, as you get a look at Dave Keel again, head coach for the Highlanders. Berger will work from shotgun. He'll have a slot to the left. Easterling gets the call, trying to get the corner on the left side, and cuts it upfield at the hash mark inside the 45 to about the 44-yard line. Got about half that penalty back.
That was a nice little run by Easterling. He was pretty well hemmed in there, and he made a nice cut and was able to get about 3 yards.
And Adam Hertz there again on the stop defensively for the Warhawks. The team leader in tackles coming in with 46 on the season for the senior. 2nd and 12. Again, Easterling gets the call, and he's stopped in the backfield. Boy, the Warhawks are ready. They're keying on 34 back there. As every time Easterling gets the ball, he really has nowhere to go with it. As again, Danny Olson, the junior linebacker, 2nd on the team in tackles coming into play tonight, able to make the stop.
I think Germantown probably needs to take a couple shots down the field. Just get J.R. Richmond, let him run a fly route and see if he can throw it up.
3-step drop coming back near side. Nice. Catch is made. And short of the first down, however.
There's that timing route, though. Just down and turn in.
Matt
about
Pop,
half what they needed.
Yep, Matt Pop, the junior tight end, 6'2", 195 with his 2nd reception of the night, but short of the first down. And again, the penalty really hurt them there as they'll be short by about 5 yards on the first down.
Yeah, and I said in pregame that field position I think was important for Homestead. They need to keep Germantown backed up, and they're appears that they're going to try to kick it down in there and get them backed up.
And they once again will punt from midfield. He'll have the wind at his back. There was movement up front, and they may have drawn off the defense. Now we'll have to see how close this will be to a first down. Now you may change the play call here. You may elect to go for it here on 4th down. Because it's 4th and 6 officially on the board. If they drew the defense off, it sets up a 4th and 1, and indeed is encroachment by the Warhawks. So this will be an interesting call. I think you bring your offense back on.
Well, it appears that they are. Berger's in,
Yep. So they'll bring Cody Berger, I should say, back in for the quarterback here. And it will be enough for the first down. So it picks up the first down via the penalty. Wow. Big time gaff that time by the Germantown defense. 1st and 10, just short of the 32-yard line. They'll run the inside counter. And Dancer with a nice run up the middle that time. Stopped by Adam Hertz once again.
Well, that's the first counter that they've run tonight, and it's an ideal time to do it because Germantown has been all over the run, and the counter goes counter to a fake. But Germantown was up to it and made the stop.
We got an injured player out there, as it looks like it's Easterling, Antoine Easterling, who's down. Well, while we take an injury timeout, once again we'll go back downstairs to Josh Vernier.
Yeah, and guys, going over to the Germantown sideline after their last offensive series, the key point being driven home by the players and the coaches was we must get push on that offensive line. Look, only down 13, still plenty of time to get this done. They're going to need to start moving the defense of Homestead around if they're going to get anything done. That's what the coaches, that's what the players are saying. We'll see what they can do in the final 14-plus minutes.
Josh, thank you very much. Great work downstairs. You can check out the Wendy's Varsity Blitz High School Football Coaches Show every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports Radio 1250 WSSP. Mike McGivern and Joe Cook will talk to a different coach each week, Saturday mornings at 10 on Sports Radio 1250 WSSP. Easterling being helped off here to the near side as play continues on. Gerke on the carry that time. Going to be short of the first down, and that's a huge blow here to Homestead because Easterling is their leading ground gainer at over 800 coming in.
Sam Raymond, number 37, is going to take his place, 5'10", 175-pound junior.
Working on that right ankle. Did not put any pressure on that leg as he came off to the near sideline, and with a short turnaround on the playoffs Tuesday. We'll see how that develops here tonight as Gerke gets the call on the left side and runs right into the linebacker there, coming up to make the play. Holcomb there, Ben Holcomb, the junior, actually free safety, coming up to make the play.
One of the leading tacklers on Germantown's team, even though he's a free safety. He's been in a lot of plays this year.
Well, they close enough to attempt a field goal here with the wind.
It looks like they're going to kick it, yep.
You get a look at Easterling again, getting that leg worked on that near sideline as Stern will come on. Stern with a 37-yard field goal earlier this year. Week 2 against Wisconsin Rapids. That tied the ball game in the fourth quarter to force overtime.
This will be a 45-yarder if he makes it.
He'll have the wind at his back here for this attempt. High snap, ball down, kick on the way, and it's going to be short. Yep. Short and wide to the left. And again, it was a high snap. Berger did a nice job getting it down, but Stern comes up short and to the left. So the field goal goes by the wayside here as we have under a minute left.
In college and pros, the ball comes back to where the kick is. But in high school, that has the same effect as a punt. It goes into the end zone and it comes out to the 20-yard line as a touchback.
So Germantown will get it on a first down from their own 20-yard line. Under a minute remaining here in this third quarter. Needing to get a spark here. Need to finish drives. This will be their final drive into the wind here.
One with two tight ends and one back. Not either. Just one tight end.
They give it to Sebastian. He'll take it across the 25.
Sebastian's been a good running back for him as well. He's got 46 carries and 5 touchdowns, averaging almost 6 yards a carry this year. 46 carries, so that they have a nice little stable of backs. They can just keep running them in and out.
2nd and 4, just across the 25-yard line.
They've gone back to a little bit of more old-fashioned alignment here with an I formation. Maybe try to pound it in there and see if they can get a first down.
Longe will hand it off. Fisher again, the tailback across the 30. First down and more, moving the pile out to the 34-yard line. Nice run by Sebastian Fisher to close out this third quarter. Schwalbach was there along with Schrader defensively. Clock will stop while they reset the sticks, and I think if I'm the Warhawks here, I let this clock run out and get the wind at your back here for the fourth quarter. That's exactly what's going to happen here.
I think they've established maybe we're going to play a little what they call smash mouth football here.
Get another look at Sebastian Fisher's run here on the first down. Nice job running it between the guard and tackle. So that will end our third quarter here in Mequon. Homestead holding on to a 13-0 lead on a special Wednesday edition of the All-State Thursday Night Lights on My 24. Coach Stadka looking over those notes as his Warhawks get set to begin the fourth quarter with Dick Basham, Hall of Fame football coach from Marquette. John Weiser with you. Our fourth quarter of play here on a windy night on the north side. There's a nice reverse pivot that time and a toss. A beautiful catch over there on that far side.
Little waggle action, as it's called in football terms. You fake a running play. In this case, he faked it to the right, rolled out to his left, and the tight end just leaked out into the flat and able to get 3 quick yards, almost 4.
First
if
reception.
Coach Daka has any tricks up his sleeve, we need to get one fairly early here to threaten to get it to that one score where everything is a threat to Homestead. Right now they have a comfort zone because they're up by 2 scores.
Jacob Baker with his first reception of the ball game. 3 receivers here to the near side, empty backfield. As Mongan being chased, throws it out, and catch. Nice catch by Tushinsky down to the 40-yard line of Homestead.
I thought Stern had a beat on that ball. Was going to try to go for the interception, but he backed off and was thrown high and outside. It was a great catch.
It was Tushinsky, their second leading receiver, with a beautiful catch here on the rollout by Mongan.
I think Germantown can complete passes here. They're getting time to throw. They're getting good protection, time to throw. There's a lot of room. It's a big field.
Again, they'll empty the backfield here. 5 receivers going out. This time it'll be a draw play. Krivashine getting around the left side. Krivashine with room. inside the 20. Krivashine out of bounds near the 15-yard line. 25-yard run by Krivashine. Debink able to bring him down to save the touchdown.
Well, I said in the keys of the game, I thought Germantown, if they could be unpredictable, they would certainly help them. And now they're throwing on first down and running on short yardage, and that seems to be a nice change of pace right now.
The old-fashioned spread them out that time, and Krivashine on the keep. Spotted at the 16, 1st and 10 Germantown, their deepest penetration into Homestead territory tonight. Again, empty backfield, 5 receivers with the wind at their back. Mongan gonna have to scramble. Down the left side is Mongan, inside the 10 and out of bounds near the 5-yard line, could be close to a first down.
Now they've got everybody backed off. They're only rushing 4 guys, and both those quarterbacks are quicker than all 4 of those front linemen. So they can take it, pull it down, and run if they want to. But now it's a little tougher because they're running out of room down there in the red zone inside the 5-yard line.
They spot it at the 8.
8-yard line, yes.
The 2nd and 3 here for the Warhawks.
I think the objective now is to get a first down.
Krivashine will turn around, hand it off. Sebastian Fisher should have enough for the first down as he's driven back. We'll see where forward progress. Well, one official has it just inside the 5-yard line, so that should be enough for the first down. Schwalbach ended up making the stop along with Schrader.
Now it's going to be up to the big boys. Both of the lines are fairly similar as far as size.
So 1st and goal inside the 5 for Germantown. I formation. The give is to Fisher. Dives his way forward.
Got about half of it, I think.
Down to about the 2.
Over the left side.
Again,
Kevin Bardo, Stefan Hahn, Alex Zorn, Joe Schultz, the right guard, Jack Anderson, the right tackle.
And they'll go tie-dye behind Krivashine. From the 2, Fisher trying to get the edge in for the score, and we've got ourselves a ball game.
That was pretty easy, actually. I think there's a little message there that maybe we should power up and run it, and don't be afraid to throw it.
Sebastian Fisher, his 6th touchdown of the season, and they will kick for the extra point.
The other factor here that could make a big difference over this duration of this quarter is that Germantown has the wind.
Krivashine on the hold. The kick is on the way, and it is good. 13-7 early here in the 4th quarter. A great drive here by Germantown. A couple of big plays on this drive.
Exactly.
As the quarterback draw, the pass play to Tushinsky that set them up into Highlander territory, and then the big run by the quarterback, Krivashine.
Their kicker has a great leg, too. He can probably make it from 40, 45 yards with the wind. So even if they can get some field position and get down inside to the red zone, if they can't get a touchdown, I think they have a chance to kick a field goal. And 2 field goals ties it up.
Once again, Thursday Night Lights ask you to support Allstate and their X the Text program. Allstate in My 24 urges students and their families to stop texting and driving by pledging to X the Text. Go online to allstate.com/team to get more information. Well, let's see this with the wind, and last we heard it was about a 31-mile-an-hour gust, right. So would expect this one to carry the end zone unless they try the onside kick.
I don't think they. I don't know. I think it's a little early for that, but been wrong before. There is a hole in the middle. If they have a little trickle kick that they can run it, track it down.
They'll kick this one away, and it will angle to the far side. Does it make the sideline? Ooh, it goes out of bounds. Tough break there for Germantown. That'll give Homestead good field position with the kickoff going out of bounds. Really what you wanted there, if you're going to kick it away, just boom it straight and try and bounce it through the end zone for the automatic touchback.
I think he kind of hooked it a little bit, trying to get a little extra on it, and hooked it to the left, and now it comes out to the 35-yard line.
Looks like my 5-iron.
Yeah.
Can never get that thing to go straight. So they'll move it out to the 35 with the kickoff going out of bounds. And Homestead has to pick up some first downs here to flip the field position, or at least to turn things around here. They have not been able to move the ball in this second half.
But they do have Easterling back in. He must have shook off that ankle injury, and he's ready to go again.
He's the tailback. Berger will work out a shotgun, hands it off to Easterling, trying to pick his way around the right side, and does. Gets the corner across the 40, still on his feet to the 45, midfield and out of bounds as he's brought down near the 48 of the Warhawks. Good 17-yard pickup by Easterling that time. Galganitis finally brought him down.
I think Malcolm Bowers had a shot at him out there in the flat, but he bounced off that tackle. That's that balance that I mentioned earlier. He's got quick feet.
So 1st and 10 Islanders as we head back downstairs. Josh Vernier.
Yeah, it was over by the Homestead sideline, and Easterling had about a half a dozen of his teammates come up to him and say, "Are you good to go? Can we count on you?" He gave them the answer they wanted to hear, but Coach, I'm sure you've seen it in the players' eyes. You hear him, you don't necessarily believe him. He just picks up a big block and is down again, but here comes Homestead.
Berger inside the 20 will get it into the end zone. 48 yards for Berger, and Homestead answers the Germantown touchdown.
I don't know where that came from, but all of a sudden their offense came back. They ran Easterling on one play. He's limping off the field a little bit. He's not 100%. This is an option play, and to the left, and Germantown did not cover the quarterback keep in. Here's the result right here. You got to cover all three phases of the option: the dive, the quarterback keep, and the pitch. 2 out of 3 doesn't get it done. That negates all that work that Germantown just did.
Second rushing touchdown of the year for Cody Berger. He'll hold on the extra point attempt, and it's going to be a go for 2. They'll pitch it to Stern, trying to get the edge near side, and he does. To the pylon for the 2-point conversion. Big 2-point there. Makes it a 2-score game, 21-7 with just over 9.5 minutes to go. But the 48-yard run by Berger and the 2-point conversion by Stern as we get a look at it.
Yeah, this was a planned play. It wasn't a bad snap or anything. Caught Germantown sleeping a little bit on that one. I think maybe anticipated that one there.
But going back to that touchdown run, you saw the option play there, and it was the safety over there, or the corner on that near side, Reindl, who got sucked up inside, and once he lost containment,
it's all over.
Yep, exactly. So Berger with the 48-yard run, Stern able to tack on the 2-point conversion. 14-point lead once again here for the Highlanders.
Well, we'll see if Germantown can come back now and do what they just did and get it back to 1 score again.
And it was set up on the run by Easterling, a 17-yard pickup.
Based on what the Homestead did last time they kicked off, they did not kick it deep. Now they're against the wind, so I would think they would probably not kick it deep again. They should be able to get some field position if they handle the ball.
Bowers near side, Kriebeschein far side, the 2 deep men.
And they both just moved up thinking that it's going to be a shorter kick so they can handle it.
Stern into the wind, just a low liner. Be taken by one of the short men up here on the near side, trying to get up the middle. Still on his feet, out to about the 35-yard line. Baker that time with the return. Schrader able to bring him down, and along with Miller. So 1st and 10, Germantown, good field position for the Warhawks. It's a show full of blood, sweat, and cheers. And next Wednesday, it's date night as the Hellcats cheerleaders are auctioned off to the highest bidder. Don't miss Hellcats, Wednesdays at 8 on CW 18. From their own 35. Again, they'll spread the field, 5 receivers. Kriebeschein with time, now on the scramble. Going to try the right side. Across the line of scrimmage, cuts it up at the 40, 45, midfield. Kriebeschein still on his feet, brought down at the 47-yard line of the Highlanders. Finally, Matt Schrader brought him down, but a big gain. Again, a pickup of about 18 on the play for Dylan Kriebeschein, the senior quarterback.
Well, that was a great play by Kriebeschein. He was almost dead in the backfield, and he was able to outrun probably 6-7 guys, cut back twice, and got it out to the 47-yard line. So now they got room to operate.
Josh Mongan in there now, and alternating just about every other possession. Mongan, the junior, at quarterback. Once again, 5 receiver, empty backfield. And now late penalty marker down. We have a delay of game here against Germantown unless we had movement up front.
That was a fast 25 seconds. I'm a little surprised.
Exactly. Delay of game here against Germantown.
They're going to stay with what they had called. They've got Malcolm Bowers in now playing wide receiver.
He's in a slot here to the near side. Mongan, plenty of time. Now breaks down, he'll scramble. Up the middle is Mongan, brought down just across midfield. Won't go as a sack. Rexigal there to make the play.
Yeah, he had a little room to run, but he ran into one of his linemen, and that was slowed him down, and Rexigal was able to recover and make the tackle.
So second and long here from midfield for Germantown. They trail by 2 scores. Under 8:20 to go here in this ball game.
I think Rivershine's got to get rid of the ball a little bit quicker. He's got guys open, but the longer he holds on to it, the less success he's going to have.
Slot screen to the far side. Catch is made down the far sideline and out of bounds for the first down. Reindl with the catch. Debbing ran him out.
Just a little flare out of the backfield and catch and run.
Let's see, a little bit short perhaps.
Well, I thought he had it, but he must have stepped out just short, yeah, about a foot.
3rd and inches here for Germantown. Again, empty backfield for Mongan. This time the 3 receivers to the near side. Again, going to try and screen, and it's incomplete. And I'll tell you what, I think who made the play on that one was Dante Phillips, the senior defensive tackle, who may have gotten a hand up. The receiver at the last minute, I don't think followed it all the way through.
Got distracted, yeah.
Just enough of that motion to try and get the hand up by Phillips. Threw the receiver off. So 4th and inches here, the drive.
I'm surprised he didn't just sneak it. I don't know if Germantown realized it was short yardage. They might have thought they had a first down there.
Well, now Krivashine back in. They'll go with the bone behind him. They'll hand it off. The fullback, Fisher, first down and more.
Yeah, that was good.
Sebastian Fisher picking up the first down inside the 30-yard line. Schwalbach was there defensively for the Highlanders, but a big first down pickup on the 4th down conversion. Fisher with a touchdown already tonight, bringing his team back.
4 down territory, so we have 4 downs to get a first down. I think if they get about 10 yards, they can certainly kick a field goal.
Mongan with an empty backfield. Draw play. He's going to be stopped and driven down for a loss. The Highlander defense ready for it that time. Brett Jemis, the junior linebacker.
Not fooled.
No, he was not. Jemis with an interception return for a touchdown against DC Everest in week 1. 5'10", 180-pounder.
Well, they're back to their spread formation now with 5 receivers.
2nd and 11. Krivashine, the lefty, looking to throw. Now he's on the scramble, and he's going to be stopped short of the line of scrimmage. Once again, Jemis was there.
Now what we've got now, they've got the 5 receivers, and that's forced Homestead to go into zone pass defense. And again, as I said just a minute ago, I think Krivashine has got to get rid of the ball quicker. He has guys open, but they're not going to be open deep. They're going to be open in front of the defenders, and he's got to throw the ball in there and give the receiver a chance to run with it a little bit.
Another big 3rd down, 3rd and 12 upcoming for the Warhawks.
The linebackers are able to keep an eye on the quarterback more now, so it's not going to be as easy to run.
Mongan coming back near side. Toshinsky with the catch. Bounces off the tackle inside the 20, down to the 16-yard line. Toshinsky.
Yeah, that was an excellent effort, because I think the defender thought he was going to knock him out of bounds or knock him down. He just bounced off, turned around. Here's Mongan on the throw. Nice throw to the outside. Bounces off of Stern, comes back to the inside, and gets another 5 yards.
Big 3rd down conversion, so the drive kept alive, converting on 4th and inches, and then the big 3rd down catch by Toshinsky. Empty backfield once again, and I believe we got a timeout taken here by Homestead.
Homestead wants to break the momentum a little bit and get reorganized here.
Timeout, Homestead.
Well, Fritz Rauch is Dave Keel's defensive coordinator, and he's a good one.
21-7, Homestead with the lead, but Germantown driving when we come back on the Wednesday night edition of All-State Thursday Night Lights. Pair of nice pickups on 4th down, and a big 3rd down conversion have set up the Germantown Warhawks down to the Highlander 15-yard line with Dick Basham, John Weiser, Josh Vernier, all of us here waiting this one out. A big North Shore matchup here tonight in week number 9. Homestead trying to extend their conference winning streak out to 62 games, but Germantown giving them some fits here late. Once again, they'll go empty backfield. 5 receivers. Krivashine. Here comes the blitz off the edges. He gets away, and it's incomplete. Jemis that time.
That's what a timeout does for you. They got reorganized. They decided to bring the pressure, played man-to-man. They had the receivers pretty well covered.
Jemis and Crumpton, both backers coming that time for the Highlanders. 2nd and 10 for Germantown at the Homestead 15-yard line.
I was saying just before we went to break that Fritz Rauch is the D coordinator at Homestead, and he's a good one. I don't know how many years he's been with Phil, but for as long as I've known, we've played him back in the early 2000s, and he was the coordinator then. He does a great job.
Mongan now the quarterback. Takes the snap. Late blitz coming up the middle. Mongan on the run. Penalty marker down as he's chased down from behind. May have gotten back to the original line of scrimmage. Once again, Crumpton on the chase. Also out there, Jonathan Naiman. And we got a holding call here against the Warhawks. It was a late blitz coming from Crumpton that time on the offside.
Right.
That right side of that offensive line, and forced Mongan left.
I think what the Homestead has decided that they can't sit back and just try to cover. They need to force the quarterback to get rid of the ball, make them run, take them out of their comfort zone, and that's certainly been effective the last 2 downs here.
Spot foul, so they step off 10 from the spot of the infraction, moves the football back to the 30-yard line. With just under 6 minutes to go in a 2-score ball game. Phil Datka, the Germantown coach.
I'd say maybe a screen pass now. They're getting pressure. Screen pass might, they don't have the formation to run a screen unless it's going to bring some receiver into the inside, which is not what it is.
They come again in the blitz. They swing it out. It's picked off. Intercepted out there.
I think that's Debink.
Yep, Debink making the catch on the interception. Our Scholar athlete as well, making another smart play defensively for Homestead as we get another look.
Yeah, he got right in that throwing lane. There's a little swing pass, and he's the outside linebacker. He set back on it, broke on the ball. That was a tough catch, and he made the catch.
It was intended for Rindle, but credit Crumpton on the pressure, too, forcing the quarterback to get rid of that ball early. Debink with the interception, and Homestead takes over here with 5:37 to play, leading by 14.
Now we need a turnover. We being Germantown, they need to get a turnover to get the ball back right away, and that's not easy to do against Homestead. They're a very well-drilled and well-coached team. They're not.
Easterling again getting the call, may have lost a yard.
Not likely to give you that turnover when you need it.
Once again, Adam Hertz, that strong safety out there to make the play. He's been busy man tonight. Easterling, who injured that right ankle.
He's still hobbling a little bit, but must not be severe enough that he needs to sit out.
Loss of 1. Homestead trying to milk that play clock as much as they can. They face a 2nd and 11 from their own 22. Again, Easterling getting the call. Easterling trying the right side, can't get through. Fumble the football, it's loose. Picked up by Germantown, they'll run it in. Bowers with the fumble recovery into the end zone for the touchdown. 2nd turnover of the night. Bowers able to come up with an interception and now a fumble recovery for the touchdown.
Easterling going to his right and just popped the ball out.
Ball was out before he hit the turf, and Bauer able to scoop that up, and a scoop and score for Bowers.
Oh. Well, now we have another game. Just like that.
Second turnover tonight by Homestead. And the extra point is up and through.
Well, I said they needed a turnover. I didn't expect it to happen, and that's exactly what they needed, and they got it. So now it's down to
Bowers, who had the first quarter interception, took a pass away from Beckers. Scoops and scores from 20 yards out.
This will be an interesting finish. What do we have left here? We have 5 minutes, 4:50 to go. So a lot of fireworks here.
Well, the Highlanders have hung into those close ball games this year. You go back beginning of the year, 36-22 over DC Everest, an overtime win against Wisconsin Rapids.
Right, yeah.
A close game against Cedarburg.
They've had some close games, and they've found a way, you know. And but Phil Dock is a wily veteran, as we know, and he's got some kids that are playing hard. Their defense has hung in and done a good job, other than that last touchdown where they went to sleep a little bit. But for the most part, they have really kept them in the game, and now the offense has found the spark.
Let's see if they try and kick this one deep, avoid the return. They're going to try a short onside kick, a little chip shot. Fair catch signaled for and made. Smart play there. That could be our smart play of the game right there. Sponsored by the Wisconsin National Guard, is signaling and making the fair catch here on the near side.
Again, it's a sign of a well-coached team. A lot of people don't realize you can fair catch a kickoff. You can actually fair catch any kick. But that was well done.
We'll call that our smartest play of the game, brought to you by the Wisconsin National Guard. He does that time on the fair catch on a kickoff. Well, Homestead, with 4:50 to play, they pick up some first downs, flip this field position.
They're staying in their tight tee to little crossbuck action here.
Berkey with the call, and it's snuffed out beautifully by the Warhawk defense, an inspired defense led by Danny Olson once again.
It's a formation you don't see much anymore, the old tight tee.
Loss of 1 on the play, 2nd and 11. Galganitis was there, leading the charge defensively for the Warhawks. 2nd and 11. And Homestead just trying to take as much time off the clock.
They're keeping the two tight ends in tight, and they're taking the two backs and halfbacks and putting them on as wings. Trying to get a good blocking platform here. That's a quick trap to
Easterling, the ball carrier again. Nope, nothing going. Once again, Danny Olson and Galganitis stepping up in the gaps to put him down for no gain. Sets up 3rd and about 11 here for Homestead. So quickly, a 3rd down, they need to convert.
See if they'll put it in the air here. Take a chance on interception or stopping the clock. I doubt it, knowing Dave Keel, but I've been wrong before.
Berger's going to back out. The count is on.
They're going to get a delay of game penalty here.
And they're going to have to take a timeout. They were confused. They wanted to change the play based on what they saw defensively. Right. Dave Keel was changing the call, but the play clock under 10 seconds, the back judge was already counting it down.
They were down to 1 second.
So 3:27 to go. A tight ball game, 21-14. It was 13-0 at the half in favor of Homestead, and Germantown with a scoop and score by Bowers on the fumble recovery.
Right.
Put themselves right back in this one, and they're a defensive stop away from coming away with pretty good field position.
Well, they've got 2 scores in the 4th quarter here, and that they still have enough time. We have 3:28 on the clock. So 3:27, we still have time to have a lot of things happen. I think this is a key play right here in a way for Homestead. I think the debate is, do we put it in the air and take a chance, or do we think we can run it? I would think that they will probably run the ball and take a chance and punt it. We'll see.
Cody Berger will call the play in the huddle here.
They do have the 6'6" tight end, but he is in tight, and they're in tight. A little bit different formation here now. Kind of a trips look over here.
Becker's here lined up in a slot. Penalty marker down. They may not have had the offensive covered. Ball in the air, picked off by Bowers again.
Yes.
At midfield, but we'll check out the penalty. There is a flag down at the line of scrimmage. His second pick tonight for Bauer. He's had himself quite a ball game. A fumble recovery for a touchdown and now a pair of interceptions as the officials will discuss the penalty. I gotta wonder if the receiver on that far side wasn't on the line of scrimmage, which didn't cover up the right tackle. Exactly, illegal formation against Homestead. Bauer's pick stands. Germantown at the midfield stripe with 3:21 to play, down 7.
Well, that's a case again, I think, where the wind played a factor in this because that ball just hung up there. And Bowers actually came off of covering somebody else to there you see him coming off his other the other receiver he was defending and makes the play. And that was a tough catch.
It was intended for D'Angelo Dantzler.
And Dantzler was open when the ball was thrown, but by the time it got there, he wasn't.
Again, they'll empty the backfield. 5 receiver look here. Krivashine steps up, throws over the middle through Toshinsky's hands, incomplete.
Yeah. Good coverage. That was Matt Stern.
Stern on the coverage out there, the cornerback, the senior.
Got a little bit of a mismatch there inside. You got 6'2" against 5'9".
You don't pass up those opportunities.
Right. Stern's a good player. He's in a good position to defend. But sometimes if the ball's thrown high enough, sometimes you can't do much about it.
Just over 3 minutes to play. Down 7, getting a takeaway. 3rd turnover tonight by Homestead.
Get everybody up, everybody come and get rid of the ball.
Here they come, got to get rid of it. Mongan under pressure, and he's going to go down back at the 46-yard line. Nowhere to go, Mongan. Looked like Jemis again leading the charge on the blitz that time, and Germantown going to take a timeout here, facing a critical 3rd and long.
And that defense coming after him, make him make something happen.
So we get another look at this.
Yeah. You don't see the beginning of the play, but there was 7 guys on the line of scrimmage who were playing man-to-man on 4 and 7 guys rushing.
Finally, Wickman, along with Jemison Phillips, able to clean up Mongan on the play. So 3rd and 14. During this timeout, we got Pius knocking off Kettle Moraine 29-26.
Yeah, coming from behind to do it, too. Cedarburg 45-6 over Nicolay. Brown Deer, is that right? 71-36 over Whitnell. Wow.
That's what it looks like. And the big win in my household, Hun, South Milwaukee a winner. They beat Cudahy tonight, 40-13. Go Rockets, huh?
And here's a big game right here. Menominee Falls 14, Brookfield East 14 in the 4th quarter. Falls needs the win in order to get back to the playoffs this year.
Well, it'll be a big parade on Milwaukee Avenue in South Milwaukee tonight. They probably tore the goalpost down. Well, big 3rd down here for Germantown, 3rd and 14. Krivashine
5 guys out.
Again steps up over the middle, tipped and dropped. Nearly intercepted out there. Matt Schrader got a hand on it, couldn't bring it down. Dangerous pass over the middle, not sure where that ball was going. So 4th and 14 for Germantown. This might be the ball game right here.
Right.
Warhawks have one timeout remaining, I should say.
I think the ball was intended for Richmond. He was down in the middle.
Yep. Going to empty the backfield once again. We need to look for Richmond or Toshinsky here on this one.
I think so. You got your 2 tallest players. You got Debbink was back. Now he runs up. You got
Jailhouse blitz coming. Mongan in the air. Ball is overthrown. He never saw it. Incomplete.
I'm not sure he could have got it, but he didn't see it.
No, he did not. Never looked around and kind of got lost either in the lights or whatever. Right. But J.R. Richmond, the intended receiver, could not come up with it. And Germantown can only stop the clock one more time as Homestead will take over on the Warhawk 46-yard line. 2:50 to play.
Well, I think one thing you can say about Homestead, they trust their players in their ability to do what they've been taught to do, and that in this case defend the pass, and they took their chances and put pressure on the quarterback and went one-on-one man coverage, and they were able to survive it.
Easterling over the left side, dives his way inside the 44 to about the 43-yard line.
I think they got to probably let him run 2 plays and hope that on 3rd down they can stop him and force him to punt.
Danny Olson tonight, his 10th tackle, leading the charge on that defensive side for Germantown tonight. Get a look at Easterling. What a night he has had. A touchdown.
Right.
Got injured here early in the second half and has battled through that, make his way back on the field. Their leading ground gainer coming in with over 800 yards rushing this year. Now delay a game. Yep, took too much time.
Berger wasn't paying attention, and all of a sudden he looked up and it was too late.
Now you're taught as a quarterback in high school, the first thing you do when you're trying to milk the clock, keep your eye on the back judge.
Right.
He'll let you know how much time is left. He'll either count it down from 10 or hold his palms out for 5 and then count it down once it gets to 5 seconds. So you have the opportunity to see that as a quarterback.
It was a combination of him not watching that and the play getting in a little bit slow.
2nd and 12. In that T formation behind the quarterback. And they're going to try a little option. A little keep by the quarterback, Berger. Nothing doing here on the near side, but wisely stays in bounds, forcing Germantown to take the timeout, their final. Ben Holcomb, the junior free safety, able to bring him down as the Warhawks will take their final timeout.
Assuming they can hold him here and force him to punt, which they will do if they don't get the 1st down, then Germantown will get the ball. Won't be in good position.
But they will have the wind at their back.
They have the wind at their back, and they have speed. It's a big field, and stranger things have happened in these situations.
So both teams now out of timeouts. And remember, the Highlanders had to burn one early.
Right.
So they don't have that safety here if they somehow want to change the formation. Phil Datka pacing that sideline.
The sideline a little bit.
Well, can they force a 4th turnover?
Well, that would be the short way to get it, but they're probably going to have to go through the 4th down to get it. So.
Well, let's see what's up Dave Keel's sleeve here. We'll go with twin tights. Hop to the right. Oh, switch off. Roll the tight end. Becker's over to the right side. Hard count here. Give us to Easterling, picks his way through, spinning forward inside the 40, going to be short of the 1st down.
Well, they made a good run at it. They brought that tight end across in kind of a trap block. Get an extra blocker in there, but it's going to be 4th and 1. They're going to go for it.
Adam Hertz with his 9th tackle of the night, 4th and 1.
They must feel that they're in good enough field position that, 1, they can get it, and 2, if they don't get it, they can defend it.
They make it, it's ball game right here.
Might try to draw him offside too.
Berger. He don't have a timeout. And now they're going to take the delay of game. They took it down as far as they could with 1:23.
Germantown must have had 1 timeout left.
No,
they called the delay of the game.
Yep.
I saw a coach in the sideline signaling timeout.
Well, they were out of timeouts. That came back to haunt here. Homestead facing a 4th and 1. They had to burn one on their first drive of that 3rd quarter.
So they tried to draw them offside. Now they're going to. They're not worried about the 5-yard penalty.
If you're the Warhawks, do you come after Anea?
I don't think they're going to. I don't think I would. I don't want to risk roughing the kicker. They'll take their chances from wherever they get the ball.
They try a strong rush. Anea gets off a nice punt. Bounces inside the 20, takes a Homestead roll to the 14-yard line.
Okay.
So a 28-yard punt, no return down to the 14-yard line. And the situation is this. You're trailing by 7. You're out of timeouts. You've got to go the full length of the field, but the clock will stop on each made 1st down.
And they got to use the sideline. They can't take a sack.
We'll see.
Don't force the ball. I mean, you have 4 downs to get a 1st down. It's not an emergency yet.
Revis Shine will be the quarterback to start this drive. Empty backfield, 5 receivers, 3 to the left. We'll swing it out, and a nice catch over the far side. makes the first down and more and gets out of bounds. Nice job. Able to dance his way out of bounds. Randall that time.
That was a good catch. That was down near his ankles when he picked that off the ground.
Devink able to usher him out, but picks up the first down near the 30-yard line.
Good blocks downfield by the other receivers as well.
16-yard pickup by Randall. 1st and 10 Warhawks from their own 30, trailing by 7. Here comes the blitz again. They'll swing it out, and the ball carried away from Bowers that time. You could see the wind kind of just picked that one up and drifted away from the intended receiver, Bauer. Stops the clock, 2nd and 10 with exactly 1 minute to go here in the fourth quarter. Homestead trying to hang on. 61-game win streak in conference. Germantown battling back, getting 3 turnovers tonight. 2 interceptions by Bowers, and Bowers with the fumble recovery, the scoop and score from 22 yards out. Empty backfield once again. Krivashine wants to throw, pressure on, breaks away across the 30, still on his feet, may have the first down as Phillips finally brought him down. Dante Phillips with the tackle, but it'll be enough for a first down.
2.9 seconds on the clock.
Officials want to make sure. They want to get the chains reset.
Right.
Warhawks are ready to snap the football.
I think they might have going to spike it, but now they don't have to.
11-yard pickup by Krivashine on the scramble.
Got to get lined up and go. Let's go.
Movement up front, and the play's going to be whistled dead now. Question is, was it the
who did it to who?
Yep, right tackle pull out, or was the nose guard over in an encroachment?
I think Homestead was over the ball before the offense moved.
Take a look here.
False
start.
I would disagree with that.
We saw the right tackle pop up.
Right, but I think the lineman on the far side jumped. Now maybe he wasn't over the ball, but I thought he was.
So 1st and 15 from just inside their own 40-yard line.
At this point, 5 yards doesn't really make that much difference.
42 seconds to play. Here they come on the blitz. Gets rid of it in a hurry, looking for Bauer, and they had the jailhouse blitz coming that time, and Krivashine's down.
Yeah, he got drilled by Phillips and Gemus. Or Gemus, I mean.
Gemus, Phillips, also in on that play.
Well, that was
Xavier
Mongan
Crumpton
was in there that time, yeah. Picking on the little guy.
As the rain begins to fall once again here in Mequon late. 2nd and 15, 36 seconds to go.
You need to get it, try to get half of it here and then get the other half in the next play.
Empty backfield. Mongan in at quarterback. Going to go back up near side. High in the air, and neither defender nor receiver could come up with it. It was intended for Eggert this time on the near side. In pass coverage, Doug Miller.
Well, it comes down to one play to get a first down.
29 seconds to go.
This will be a 3rd and 15.
Third?
Yep, this will be a third down. We had the penalty.
Remember, we had down. That's right.
We had the penalty to replay the first down. So 3rd and 15 here for the Warhawks from their own 38-yard line. Again, they're out of timeouts, but a made first down will stop the clock as Mongan again looks to throw, far sideline, looking for Bauer, and it's overthrown, incomplete. Bauer's the intended receiver, Stern on the coverage defensively for Homestead.
I think they're maybe trying, I know they're trying to score here, but I think they have room in the middle of the field. They can get the first down, regroup, spike the ball.
Well, it comes down to this. 21 seconds to go, 4th and 15. They need the 48 of Homestead for the first down. Let's see if they dial up Tashinsky or J.R. Richmond here.
And they also have
Mongan with time, near side, going deep, receiver there with the catch. Inside the 10, touchdown, Germantown.
Ben Holcomb, the free safety.
Holcomb in as an extra wide receiver, makes the play. And they're an extra point away from tying it up, or do they go for 2 as we look at this one?
This is something I would imagine they've talked about. Are they going to go for, would they go for 2 in this situation or go for 1? We got 11.6 seconds left. So it's pretty obvious if they make the extra point, the single, they'll go and that'll be an overtime. But I think they're going to go for 2 here, looks like. Take their best shot to win.
They're going to go for the win.
And I think that's the thing to do, to be quite, you give your team the best chance to win right here.
The 2-point conversion for the win.
Power
Mongan to Fisher. He'll be stopped short. Ball is loose. The try is no good. And the Highlander defense saves the day. Dante Phillips there to make the play. Well, Datka rolling the dice, going for the win on the 2-point conversion. Coming up short on the handoff to Sebastian Fisher. Dante Phillips all over that play, the senior, 6'3", 260 pounds. We'll be seeing him on Saturdays in the Big Ten next year at Indiana.
It was interesting that they jumped in. That's their goal line play. They jumped into a power I, gave it to the tailback off the right side, and somebody penetrated and they were able to knock him off his feet before he really got ahead of steam.
Holcomb with the 62-yard touchdown.
Well, everything for Phil Duck is the last time. This is the last time they'll play Homestead, most likely. I don't think they're going to end up in the same. One of them's going to be in Division 1, the other's probably in Division 2.
But another great ball game tonight on this Wednesday night edition.
Certainly going to be a memorable time.
Thursday Night Lights, you bet. There's Phillips. He is gassed. Dante Phillips.
Going to have cramps. Yeah, he's got a cramp, too, that they're trying to get out.
Spending every ounce of energy.
They're definitely going to onside kick it.
You got to put your good hands people up, and you got Pope and Becker's up there.
It'll be a wild scramble.
Again, the kicking team can't touch it until it goes 10 yards. They'll top it. Ball will bounce around, and it
didn't go 10 yards.
Did not go 10, but it goes out of bounds. Let's see where they spot it, right at midfield.
I don't think Homestead touched it either.
I didn't see a flag, so looks like it'll be Homestead football here at the 48-yard line. They're going to hang on. Illegal touching.
Yeah.
By the kicking team
before it went 10 yards.
Yeah, before it went 10 yards, right at the 49-yard line. So Homestead will be able to take a knee and will escape and keep that conference winning streak alive now to 62 games.
Well, you have to be lucky to win 62 in a row, and I think they were lucky tonight, probably.
I think I got a pair of socks older than the last time they lost. 8.5 years.
Right. Well, at Marquette, we once won 48 straight conference games, and we were lucky several times. In order to do that, to win 62, you have to be very, very lucky. And I think Dave Keel would tell you that tonight. Phil Datka gave him his first chance to coach.
The final handshake between these two well-respected coaches, Dave Keel and Phil Datka.
I think it'll be a little bit more than a handshake there, probably a little.
As the regular season concludes, Homestead 62-game conference winning streak. Their last loss in conference, you have to go all the way back to September of 2002, early September. As the handshake line forms. But what an exciting fourth quarter. The turnover, Bowers with the two big plays here in this second half, the scoop and score, the other interception, 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery for Bowers tonight. He could be a candidate for our player of the game.
I think he would be my candidate for player of the game for Germantown.
Bowers, the number
4,
the defensive back. Yeah, did a nice job tonight for Germantown. So we'll keep him under consideration tonight, but now both these teams going to have to regroup in a hurry because the playoffs come very quickly, as you know, from that Wednesday final regular season to the Tuesday
goes
playoff
next
start.
Tuesday, and they don't find out who they play probably till around noon on Friday. And both teams being somewhat on the borderline between Division 1 and 2, depending on how games came out tonight, don't know exactly who they're going to play. They may have scouted a lot of teams. Hopefully you've scouted somebody you're going to play. Oftentimes your first round game isn't the toughest game, but in some cases if you get a team that has improved late and you get them in the first round, it's a tough game.
And it's all based on total enrollment in each school. Again, you take the top 32 teams by enrollment that have qualified for the playoffs. That makes your Division I field. Next 32, Division II, so on and so forth, all down 7 divisions. So that lays out your total as far as the number of teams making the playoffs. So it's all based on school enrollment. So Homestead and Germantown both hovering around the bottom of Division I, top of Division II. We talked about maybe one big key game tonight was that Sheboygan South, Sheboygan North matchup, which may flip that Division I field around a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Homestead and Germantown differ by 12 students, 1440, 1428. That's about the dividing line.
Well, let's head on down to the sideline. Josh Vernier with our trophy presentation.
Thank you very much, guys. Down here with the victorious club. Coach, congratulations on the win. General Manager David Ford will present the trophy.
Okay. Coach,
thank you,
congratulations on a hard-fought victory and extending your winning streak. On behalf of everybody at Allstate and Thursday Night Lights, we'd like to present you with the Champions Trophy.
Thank you very much, David. Do appreciate it, man. Keep up the great work. And special thank you to our National Guard. You're the true heroes in our lives, man. Thank you for what you do. We appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Congratulations, guys. Way to go.
Let's hear it, guys.
Yeah.
Some added pleasure by my 24 General Manager Dave Ford. This is his territory. You talk about being, I was going to say, being mayor for a night. Dave Ford here at Homestead High School, but able to hand off that Champions Trophy for the Thursday Night Light victory tonight for Homestead. As you get another look at Phil Datka and the Germantown players wrapping things up here tonight. What an extraordinary second half. It started off as a punting exhibition here in that third quarter, back and forth, but then that fourth quarter opened up.
As soon as Germantown got the win, things started happening.
So final score, Homestead over Germantown, 21-20. Our postgame will continue from Mequon after this. An exciting ball game tonight here in Mequon with Homestead hanging on by a final of 21-20. Despite a late Warhawk touchdown, they went for 2 for the win, and Sebastian Fisher coming up short on the 2-point conversion. Now we take a look at our Good Hands Play of the Game award tonight, and that was early in the second quarter, or first quarter I should say, and that was Dantzler with that little tip to himself down the near sideline. Now that was a personal foul on that play, but nonetheless, that was a spectacular catch. Looking back for that football, our Good Hands Play of the Game to Dantzler. Good Hands Play of the Game award presented by Allstate. And then that moves us to our drive of the game tonight, presented by Zero in Wisconsin. So we get a look at this one, and actually it's the second touchdown drive late in that first half.
Another good catch by Dantzler out there. He tipped it to himself again. Bat kind of tipped it up and got the handle. This is Berger on the scramble.
The wind and the rain.
And then the penalty there, the late hit. Give him another 15 yards, and he scrambles again.
That sets up Gerke for the touchdown run.
Should be right here, right up the middle.
Yep. Taking players with him into the end zone. That opened up a 13-0 lead at the end of the half. Our drive of the game sponsored by Zero in Wisconsin, a vision we can all live with. So an exciting ball game here tonight. And we'll take one more break. Back with more of our post game from Mequon right after this. Homestead hangs on for a 1-point win here tonight as they dodge the bullet. Germantown with a touchdown with just over 14 seconds left. The 2-point conversion coming up short, 21-20. A Highlander win, their conference winning streak now at 62 games, as both teams will head to the playoffs starting next Tuesday. Well, our players of the game tonight, and Coach, some pretty good selections here.
Yeah, there was a couple of guys that we could have picked, but I think the plays that really made the difference. Malcolm Bowers had the 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery that he returned for a touchdown. And had he not got that fumble recovery, they probably wouldn't have the exciting finish that we had. There it is right there. He scoops it and then takes it in.
So Malcolm Bowers of Germantown. And here's that second interception. That set them up near midfield. So Bowers from Germantown, and for Homestead, one of their fine running backs.
Yeah, I think Antoine Easterling, their little fullback, who's got the great balance of quick feet, strength. His first touchdown was a thing of beauty. There's a run that leads up to that right here, straight down the middle of the field. This next play where he scores the first touchdown, he avoids a tackler inside right there. Another one right there. Both those guys are linemen that jumped him, and he was able to had the strength to get out of those tackles. So typical of his type of play.
So Bowers and Easterling are players of the game. The award brought to you by Menards. Save big money with Menards. And so both teams will ride off into the playoffs beginning Tuesday night. Again, opponents will be decided on Friday after all the games have been played tonight, and a handful of games tomorrow across the state. But again, this has been a fun ride these past 9 weeks, Dick. I've really enjoyed working with you.
Same here, John. It's flown by, to be quite honest with you.
It certainly has. I'll tell you what, it's just been a fine effort here put on by the My24 staff and all of us associated with Allstate Thursday Night Lights. A special thank you to Allstate for their title sponsorship, and for the Department of Transportation, Wisconsin Department of Transportation, Wisconsin National Guard, and of course Boucher, Menards, everyone involved with this broadcast and our entire crew. It's just been a fun 9 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know if people realize the production crew comes up from Merrillville, Indiana every weekend, and they do a great job. Josh Vernier, who you saw on the sideline tonight, has been our stat man all year, and that really helps us. And of course, Terry Kelly has been our spotter. Terry Kelly is assistant coach with me at Marquette High School for 31 years, and we both retired at the same time, and this kept us out of trouble during the fall. So it's been a great ride. David Ford is standing behind us. He's the general manager of My24, and started putting this together early in the summer, and we were able to come up with a good schedule of games, and I think if we can pull this off again next year, we'll have even better games than we had this year. So it's been a great ride.
Special thank you to Wendy's as well, the real fan cam, and for feeding this hungry crew. I'll tell you what, I've never seen people devour Wendy's every week like they do, but again, we thank them. Wendy's here in Southeast Wisconsin, very much a part of our Thursday Night Lights here this season. But an exciting finish to an exciting first year. We hope you'll join us again next year for exciting high school
Thursday
football.
night.
All-State Thursday Night Lights. For Dick Basham, for Josh Vernier, Ron Davies, Mike McGivern, I'm John Weiser. Thank you for tuning in, and from our entire crew for All-State Thursday Night Lights, thank you for tuning in. Good night.